Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. And Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure. Yeah.
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Thumbtack presents the ins and outs of caring for your home. Out, procrastination, putting it off, kicking the can down the road. In, plans and guides that make it easy to get home projects done. Out, carpet in the bathroom. Like, why? In, knowing what to do, when to do it, and who to hire. Start caring for your home with confidence. Download Thumbtack today.
This week, in Reed Spring, Missouri, it's a tale as old as time, one of betrayal, paranoia, and heartless brutality, complete with Jesus taking on his first murder case as an attorney and an intervention from an extremely different kind of source. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Yay, indeed, Jimmy. Yay, indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us on another crazy edition here. Hope you guys enjoyed last week. I think you did. We had a lot of good feedback. It was a happy, weird ending last week, which is a strange way to put it. But if you didn't listen to last week, go back and listen to last week because it's an adventure. The next 2 weeks, though, this week and next week, whoa, buckle up.
Yeah.
This week is just it's insane. It's insane. And the next week, you won't even believe it. Totally different, but even crazier. I'm telling you.
Believe it.
Whoa, it's wild. Quickly, though, thank you for everything you've done for us this week. Of course, everybody, first of all, starting with your reviews, those Apple Podcasts, purple icon, they help for some reason, those reviews. I don't know why. I've yet to find out.
Nobody tells me.
In 4 years of podcasting, we have no idea why it helps, but if you leave reviews, it helps drive us up the charts. So please, do that. Leave a review. Tell us what your favorite appetizer is.
They're delicious.
That's good. 5 5 stars would be wonderful. Other than that, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com for everything you could possibly need. Crime and sports and small town murder related. Crime and sports this week. Check that out as well. It is a guy, just a crazy adventure through the 70s. Yeah. It's a Curtis Mayfield song in a human being. You got to check it out. Joe Gilliam of the Steelers. Check that one out. And of course, as well, check out P.S. I Hate This Movie on Friday, where we're going to talk about Grease 2, which is an abomination, obviously, because Grease 1 shouldn't have been a thing. So there you go. There's that. Check that out. Lots of fun there and everything. Also, if you want to be a producer of the show, a special person to us, a special person, and on top of being a special person, you're going to get stuff for you as well. Yeah. You can do that very easily. First of all, you are going to get Jimmy mispronouncing your name at the end of the show. If you have an Italian name, you won't even recognize it probably.
I like those.
You'll get a new one. That's all. It's a new name for you that Jimmy will assign you. In addition to that, you're going to get so much good stuff in terms of bonus material, and we have a ton this week. Just this week, you're going to get Crime and Sports and Small Town Murder bonus material. Yes. This week for Crime and Sports we're going to talk about Action Park, the back east amusement park where everybody got hurt and mangled. Yeah. They've done a recent documentary. I read the book, and I grew up 50 miles from there and have been there before, and so I have some insight there on the whole thing, so we're going to talk about that. That'll be crazy. And then for Small Town Murders, we are going to talk about the documentary.
Right. It's called Good Night Sugar Babe.
There you go. We're going to do that one. Which
it is disgusting.
We've had a lot of requests for that.
Yeah.
People, when we did Stevie, people were like, hey, why don't you do that one? So we're going to do that this week.
I hate you for telling me to watch that.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. We'll talk about it.
Stevie was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
This is way more uncomfortable.
It's going to be gross, guys. I promise you, the next episode, we're going to do something fun. People have asked us to do, talk about, next bonus episode, they've asked us to talk about, crappy jobs we've had. We'll do something like that, maybe, but whatever. We'll do that. That's patreon.com/crime and sports for all of that. Or if you just want to be a good person with good karma and go to PayPal, you can do that as well. And Jimmy will mispronounce your name.
Sure.
Use our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. Quickly, the disclaimer. This is a comedy show. We're comedians. We're going to make jokes. It's going to happen. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. Yeah. People are going to die in here. It's a murder show. So death happens and jokes happen. They don't have to happen on top of each other is the thing.
Always.
You don't have to joke about someone being murdered.
No.
You don't have to joke about that. But you can joke about tons of other stuff around it, because a lot of times murder, it's ridiculous. Yeah. It's a ridiculous situation that leads to it. And,
it's a preposterous ending, and we got to get there somehow.
That's the thing. You never know. What goes through someone's head, we'll talk about it and try to find it out and then make fun of it. That's how it works there. And if that sounds good to you, great. What we're going to try not to do, and we go out of our way not to do, is we try not to make fun of the victims or the victims' families because we're assholes.
Tell me more.
But we're not scumbags.
There you go.
That's how it works there. So if that sounds good to you, sit back and relax and have a good time. If it doesn't, then true crime and comedy should never go together. The show probably isn't for you. Yeah. Thanks for trying. Yeah. You might like it if you listen, because it's not probably what you think, but still, we understand. Have a good one. Don't complain later.
Babe is for you.
That might be. For the rest of you who want to have a good time and sit back and shout from the lungs, shut up and give me murder. Let's do this, Jimmy.
All right.
What do you say? Let's go on a trip, shall we? It's not that far of a trip, honestly. We were in Iowa last week, and we're going down to Missouri, which is, right down there. It's
a straight shot.
Straight shot down there, but it's a good distance from it because it's southern Missouri. We're going into the Ozarks this week. Yeah. This is listen for the banjos time. Great. Here it is. Wild. Let me just tell you something here. It's Reeds Spring, Missouri. Reeds as like a person.
Apostrophe S?
No, that's the thing. So that's what makes no sense. I don't know.
No ownership to
they just did, but it's after a guy. So it makes no sense whatsoever. I don't understand why they would do that. I assume it's just a poor grasp on the English language. That's all I can imagine.
It's a Twitter typo.
Reeds Spring, Missouri, southwestern Missouri, like all the way down in the corner by Arkansas and Oklahoma in there. I call it the triangle of shit is what it is. This triangle.
Shit triad.
It's the devil's taint, really, this little area of forest and just
America's weld.
This is like people overseas or something would think about, they'd see some hillbilly thing and they'd be like, oh, that doesn't exist in America, doesn't it? Because then they'll see a sitcom and they don't see that, but this is that.
Right.
This is, I'm dead serious. Like whoever made Deliverance, I'm sure went here and went, I should make a movie about this. This is frightening. This is absolutely terrifying. It's about 3 hours and 50 minutes to St. Louis, about 3 hours and 15 minutes to Kansas City, on the other side of Missouri. So it's all the way down there.
Far.
And about 4 hours to Festus, Missouri, which is our last episode. Yeah. It's about 6 months ago we did that episode 160, which was a wild episode, I remember. It was called Trust Me, I'm a Murderer. So it was fun.
I don't recall.
This is in Stone County, Missouri. And this county, boy, wait till you hear about this. Area code 417. It's about 1.5 square miles of town. It's a little tiny town here. And as far as mottos go, I'm not going to do a motto. This is on the front page of their website. It's better than a motto. This is what they want to tell you. This is right off the bat.
Sums them up in one sentence.
I'm going to let them make their pitch. Let's do this. Quote, Reed Spring continues to stubbornly hold on to its small town feel amid the hustle and bustle of the 21st century. Neighbors call out to each other on the street. A smile and a wave are familiar gestures along the way.
You are 4 hours from any metropolis. You're not stubbornly doing anything.
No, it's just you have no choice. No one wants to be there. That's why there's no people there. Or the secondary motto, a great place for James to lose his fucking mind, which is I didn't think they knew who I was, but apparently they knew I was going to come there. I don't know. So, history of this town. The name is named after Fitzhugh Reed, who settled at a spring near the original town site.
His first name, Fitzhugh.
Fitzhugh.
Jesus.
And his last name's Reed, and so they said Reed's Spring, no apostrophe necessary. So, fine. Oh my God, there's a bunch of written like settlement shit here, like written record of the settlement starting in about 1851 when the Stone County became Stone County. And it's really weird. Basically, it started with two kinds of people. There was white people here, and there was Delaware Indians here. Those were the people there. And the Delaware Indians had come there about 1800, and they remained there until they were pushed out by the government later on. But they would kind of clash a little bit in this area. Obviously, as people fight over land, that tends to happen here. After their evacuation in 1830, they used to return, the Delaware Indians, annually to hunt and fish. Like a certain time of year, they would come in up until 1836 because basically the white people that were there saw the party coming in to hunt and fish and misunderstood it as a raid, military aggression, and literally put out the cavalry and started a big skirmish. And it was just people with fucking fishing poles. Like, huh? What now?
Lures on their sash.
Oh, you need a night crawler? What are we talking about here? Oh, Jesus, they're shooting at us.
Those are guns,
what the
you guys.
Holy shit. Fish their guns from their hands. There's not a lot you can do at that point, so it was difficult.
They got a cane pole with like a shoelace tied to it.
Jesus Christ.
Shooting at them.
Just a hunk of meat at the end of it. I don't know. Maybe they'll take the bait.
This is not a weapon. This is a net.
It's not going to work. So it's hard to catch bullets with things intended for salmon.
Right.
It doesn't work the same. So the first white settler here was a guy named James Jimmie, who was some French guy, basically, who was he hung out at the junction of the White and James Rivers, and he carried on trading with the Indians and white settlers who had furs and pelts and all that sort of shit, and they'd exchange that for coffee and blankets and cloth and shoes and rifles and all that sort of shit made out of metal, basically, that the white people made well there, and they would get all of the pelts and things that they needed, and they weren't as good of hunters as the Indians, so that's how it worked there.
We've only been here a little while.
Yeah, we're not good at this. We don't even know how to kill that thing.
Still new.
Tell me how to kill that again.
What's the most effective way?
Yeah. So the early people that were here were extremely religious and mostly fundamentalist. The people that would come here. So that's where this started. It started way back then, and it's just continued to now, like these kind of rural, extremely fundamentalist area. The county. It was named in 1851 after William Stone, who was an English pioneer and settler in Maryland there. It's a weird thing here. Divorces here were frowned upon. No matter what happened, basically, anybody who was in a divorce basically was disgraced by everybody.
Really?
No matter what happened. It didn't matter. It could be whatever the circumstances. Nobody's right, damn it. You stay married.
She fucked Billy Stone.
Doesn't matter. You doesn't matter. You kill her then, damn it. That's what, that was probably more acceptable.
Right. Poison her, I don't know.
You could kill her and then repent and then be fine. But if you divorce her, no, we're going to look down on you, sir.
Leave her healthy? How dare you?
Yeah. They talked about this Yoakum guy would have kind of big barbecues with like new people in the area and like Indians that he traded with.
Right.
Kind of like a big like a little convention. Like, hey, I'm having a little get together at my house. Like almost like it was like a multi-level marketing thing, and he was going to try to sell them shit, but he didn't have anything to sell.
Sat there and sang Pink Cadillac.
Yeah, and he was like, let me tell you about these dildos.
Yeah.
And they're like, dildos?
Yeah, but if you only buy one and then you have 3 people below you selling for you,
then
you're going to make that dildo will pay for itself.
The women, some women don't even do like multi-level marketing with the dildos. They just sell each other dildos and they buy them. Right. Like they just sit around together.
Some women sell dildos to get a credit to buy themselves dildos.
To buy themselves more dildos. But they sit around with their friends and they're like, I like the shape of this dildo. What about this? Yeah, they're very open about that sort of thing. Like our sexual desires are like this dirty thing that we have. We'd be like, I want this thing and I'm going to put it in there and I feel it like that. You're not going to tell all your friends.
Do you want to know?
Yeah.
No, you don't.
No, you don't. You tell your friends about things you're proud of, not things you're not proud of.
I'm not proud that I require something weird that's made of silicone to make me come. That's
Whereas
weird.
Women are like, I can take 3 of those things and put one here and one here and one over here, and I'm going to come like a fucking banshee, and their friends are like, awesome, I'll do that too.
Cool. Sometimes I put the dildo in my mouth.
Yeah.
Why?
Why?
Do you do
I don't know.
Margaret?
It just makes me feel good. All right. No, it's strange.
I'll put one in my ass, one in my mouth, and one... And I come so hard.
But
the one in the mouth is required.
Whereas anything like that with guys, we're just like, I like boobs.
Right.
That's fine. I don't want to talk about it.
You're a tit man or an ass man. Why does it have to be
for us? It's like we're disgusted with it. That's the thing. We're not saying you should be ashamed of it. We're saying we're disgusted with it, as we should be. And what you're doing is beautiful. If you're
weirder
a lady
than you.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
We're way weirder. Yeah, just you guys think it's like dirty to play with dildos with each other. No, look at that. That's nothing.
No.
Yeah, we are disgusking way more. That's why we keep it to ourselves.
I've put my balls in a ponytail before.
Yeah,
have you ever seen those?
Let's see here.
It has like a little.
No.
It's a double ring, essentially.
Yeah.
One goes around the shaft, one goes around the balls. It's fucking magical.
Okay. That's awesome.
Are you weirded out by me yet, James?
I mean, I don't care.
I've done worse.
We've talked about way worse shit than that, I think. We've told each other weirder stuff, I think, probably. So
that's the thing.
It takes a lot for me to be disgusted by you and vice versa, I feel like, at this point.
I'd more laugh with you.
I don't care.
Because you realize that it's ridiculous.
Obviously.
No matter what it is, you go, can you believe this?
Did you laugh at yourself? Were you like, look at how silly this is?
Matter of fact, I did.
Okay, as long as you noticed the ridiculousness of the situation, if then you were like, okay, now back to business. I understand.
I did say the words, my balls are in a ponytail.
Okay, well, that's good. I'm glad that you realized the silliness here. So back to somehow here talking about railroads.
Right. They go together.
The 1904, the White River Railway was extended through the terrain. This is rugged ass terrain too. This is the hills here.
Not flat.
This is not flat. This is, I guess this is Deliverance. This is the hills and hollers and all that shit.
Hell yeah.
Little dips and dives. And so this is through Stone and Taney counties. Both of these counties were sundown towns. Oh. They weren't sundown towns. They were sundown counties.
Sheesh.
The whole fucking county.
Any town inside here.
Yeah. Like if you look up right now, Missouri sundown towns, and it'll have a history of sundown towns, and it'll tell you all these different towns, and then it'll have Stone and Taney counties are the whole fucking counties that are sundown. And if you don't know what a sundown town is,
learned from this.
If you're from outside of the country or something, a sundown town was a town where basically black people weren't allowed, and it would say on the sign, basically get out by sundown was the term. So and it was kind of forbidden for black people to live there
or else.
Right. And and I found lots of stuff in the newspapers back then about that sort of shit. And then I found something that really framed it for me. And it was this article. It's from 1904 or something, when they're talking about the railroad being put in here. And the title of this is, quote, picturesque Austrian laborers.
Oh boy.
Listen to this. Picturesque Austrian laborers. The great majority of the laborers are Austrians, for whom the contractors do not provide meals, but for who cook for themselves, baking the bread of their country in quaint, high wigwam-like structures of stone and clay called Austrian ovens. Mm-hmm. That's what they're like, fawning over these Austrian laborers. I found one review of this town because it's a small town, and I don't know, 5 stars they gave it.
Really?
Yeah, it's quote, don't really know, haven't lived anywhere else. It's a decent place to live. The cost of living is reasonable. Most jobs are seasonal. They go from March to October or November. Then they lay off everyone till the next year. 5 stars. That doesn't sound like 5 stars, right?
Also, how do you know if cost of living is reasonable?
That's the other thing.
You literally have never been anywhere else.
Yeah, I guess if you're not homeless, you're like, cost of living's reasonable, right?
I took a trip to New York City for 3 days, and it cost me $12,000.
I don't think I could afford
Much
there.
more reasonable
Yeah,
here.
It cost me 4 years of beaver pelt salary.
I stayed in a hotel once. Cost me $800 for a week. That's what I pay for rent each month.
That's my quarterly rent on my trailer. That's a whole, I pay by the quarter. It's just easier. Otherwise, I forget.
I couldn't make it in a hotel somewhere else. Nobody can.
No, that's
why they're so expensive.
Fucking very. Population of this town, it kind of hovered in the 300s for a long time, 300 something, and then it was in the 400s, and it has just shot up since 1990.
Really?
Don't know what's happening, but the population right now is 1,093, which is up 166% since 1990.
They read that review.
I guess so. They were like, it's reasonable.
It's a 5-star.
Hey, honey, this guy doesn't hate it. He says it's decent, even though he's never lived anywhere else. So pack the kids, I guess. I don't know.
He has 0 of anything to compare it to, but he digs it.
Yeah. Weird stats here.
Really?
It's a weird town, and I know it's small, so the stats are skewed, but it's so weird that I'm blaming it on the town, not the stats. It's just weird. It's 58% female, which there's no rhyme or reason for that whatsoever. I don't understand it. It's just, it's wonderful for the 41% of the guys, but it's still like a weird thing, median age is normal. That's about 37. This is a strange thing though. There's a bunch of old people.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of kids that are 10 to 14 years old.
Oh.
And a lot of people who are 21 to 25.
Okay.
So either people are having kids very old or very young here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure which, but they're either having them when they're 75 or they have 14-year-olds when they're 21. I'm not sure which.
It's probably the latter.
I'm thinking the latter.
Got to be just babies having babies.
I'm thinking it's 22-year-olds with 10-year-old kids. That has to be what it is. Yeah. That's all I can think of. Married population's way higher than normal. Normal 50-50. It's 64% here. It's way off on that.
When you're that young, and you have babies, you got to get married.
I get the divorce rate's low. I guess it's still frowned upon. Apparently, I'm not sure how that fucking works, but it seems to be the way it works. Race of this town: 86% white, 0.0% black. No black people at all. No. 1.4% Asian, which seems like a strange place to. I don't know. If you're ethnic of any kind, would you go here?
No.
I wouldn't go here.
No.
I've seen my cousin Vinny. I'm not going here. You know what I mean?
It used to be a sundown town.
Yeah.
It used to be. Still could be.
Well, and the thing is,
I don't know.
Well, it's not welcoming, clearly.
Right.
And the thing is, like, if this is going to sound weird, but if you're from up north and you're either like Italian or Jewish or something noticeably not what they have down there,
right, and
you go down south, they'd hate you worse than they hate black people. Yeah. I know that's weird to say.
Because you're trying to assimilate with us.
Oh, no. It's they'll look at if it could be a racist white guy, he'll look at a black guy and go, these fucking people, fucking Yankees up there. And then they'll both agree on it, that they both hate you. It's weird as shit. Like, that's the only thing they can all agree on down there is they hate a Guinea Yankee. Oh, boy, do they hate a Guinea Yankee. I can't tell you how many times in the 1 month I spent in North Carolina, I heard the words, "You ain't from around here, are you?" You think that's a cliche?
Yeah.
Literal human being said, "You ain't from around here, are you?" And I was like, I don't want to be from around here.
Which one's more insulting, that or
no? I'm happy.
Directions to.
I was like, goddamn right, I'm not from around. This is why I'm bad, and because I was going to get killed eventually by somebody, a group of people in a truck, I assume. But I was like, no fucking way am I from around here. What gave it away? I was sarcastic about it after 3 weeks. Yeah, gee, what gave it away? I have all my fucking teeth, or the fact that, my muffler isn't dragging behind my fucking truck. Which one?
We're in a town with a population of, 7, and somebody asking you for directions, and you're like, how dare you?
How dare you? I have no Confederate flag clothing on. Is that the problem? So, that was that Texas guy. How dare he ask me for directions? Kidding me.
Do I look like...
How dare you?
You assumed it?
You assume I know my way around here? Really?
I was in the passenger seat, man. I don't know shit.
You're wearing a NASCAR hat, not you, the guy. Right. If anyone knows his way around here, it's you. It's not me. I'm wearing a Yankees hat and a fucking Nas t-shirt. What would make you think I know my way around here? Honestly.
If one person in this conversation needs directions, it's me. Yeah, Stop asking me.
And I admit it, if you're like from the South or whatever, I'm a Northeasterner, so that's how I grew up. That's how I don't know. Like, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you.
Also, don't talk to me.
I don't know the culture as well. Yeah, that's the other thing. Leave me the fuck alone. We're outside of a fucking store. What are you talking to me for? That's what this town's a nightmare. Friendly wave. What? Do I know you? Because if someone smiled and waved, I'd turn and go, what? I'd say, what do you want? Are you trying to get my attention?
Do I have something in my teeth?
If I know somebody, they wave, you wave back. But if I don't know them, I go, what? What's your fucking problem? What do you want?
Check out your shoes, make sure there's not toilet paper on them.
Just being friendly? So you bother me? That's friendly to you? Pissing me off by bothering me?
You're taking my time.
Yeah, that's not friendly.
That's not nice.
So 2 or more races is 10.6% of this town, which I don't know how that works exactly, and 1.7% Hispanic. Yeah. So this town is a fucking Rubik's Cube. I can't figure it out.
It's interesting.
Religion here, you would think it would be extremely religious. 28% are religious, which is like it's like half the average.
They abandon it.
They do, and it's spread out too. There's mostly Baptists. We're not going to lie. Baptists are the Catholics of the South, but 5.1% Catholic too is weird. 14% Baptist, 0.0% Jewish. There's no 0.0% Muslim. The county itself politically is pretty conservative. Last election, 17% voted Democrat here in Stone County, 79% Republican. Unemployment rate, who knows right now, but household income, median household income, normally it's about $57,500 in the rest of the country. Here it is $37,500.
That's not a lot.
It's not great. 20% of the jobs are in food services. Those are those seasonal jobs they were talking about, because there are like lakes and outdoor shit where people come for recreation in the summer. It's usually about 7%, and here it's 20%. So it's a lot of people making a little bit of money seasonally. And median or cost of living here, 100 is regular. Here is 87. So the housing is not that great either. It's 82. Jesus. So the median home cost here is $189,300.
Can't do it.
With a $37,000 median household income. I don't know how you make that work. That's stretching a dollar, man.
That is coupon it.
If you'd like to stretch your dollar and practice your banjo skills, we have for you the Reed Spring, Missouri Real Estate Report. Your average 2-bedroom rental here is about $730 a month, which, I don't know, that still seems like it's too much, even though it's under the average. Yeah. And, mathematically, it's still, I don't want to pay $730
$40,000 a year, you can afford that.
You can afford that. So I found some things here. It's mostly open lots. There's not a lot of houses for sale. People tend to just stay here. I found a 1-acre lot, just kind of acre of trees and a clearing for a house, $15,500.
Very affordable.
So it's affordable. Yeah. If you got some decent camping equipment, you can make a go of it here.
Or you save some money, you can build on that.
You can build it. I found a 160-acre lot, which is a lot of trees and hills. It's 160 acres, so it's a lot of land. $475,000 for this, though. So apparently there's some water on it too and shit, so that makes it nice.
Land.
Then I found, this is weird. It's on Main Street. It's a storefront, but it's a house.
Oh,
it's weird.
You live above it?
No, you live behind it.
Oh,
it's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 1,700 square foot home that also includes 2 storefronts.
Awesome.
It's got 2 storefronts, and next to the 2 stores is an antique shop that's open. And it's on Main Street, $165,900 for this.
That sounds great.
It sounds amazing. It's all brick and shit. It's like old school on Main Street. Looks cool, right?
You can open a bike shop?
Yeah, something. I don't know. You can open something that attracts I don't know if a bike shop's going to do it.
That business would boom there like
a barbecue.
Yeah.
Like a barbecue accoutrement store. You sell
the barbecue
pokers
itself.
and brushes and smokers and shit. Maybe
that's brilliant.
Do something there. I don't know. I doubt there's a Home Depot around here.
One next door.
I'm sure it's next to the antique shop. It sells antique smokers. That's all the that's all the antique shop sells antique barbecue equipment. That's it there. Things to do. This is frightening, just the name of this. The Reed Spring Heritage Festival started in 1906.
Oh, no.
I don't want to deal with that heritage. We know what that heritage is.
That was a sundown town then.
Oh, yeah. Schedule events here. The Reed Spring High School Marching Band, which I assume consists of 4 kids, maybe. I mean, 1,000 people. What is there, 100 kids in school?
Right.
25 in the high school, 20. How many of them are musically inclined? 4? There's 4 kids in this band. They're trying to play Louie like it's just they only have like 2 things and a cymbal. They don't have any.
They gotta skip the parts that they don't have.
Yeah, that's they gotta do it. We don't have horns. Hold on. Pop, 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 pop. Okay, so we don't have the horn part. Sorry, we have drums. The I Rock You studio recital, like I Rock the letter U.
Right.
The Little Miss Reed Spring competition is at 10:30 a.m. The Zen Gym Tumblers come after that. Then at 11, the Church Band Jamboree comes out.
Oh, Jesus.
Jimmy, you think this day couldn't get any worse, right?
No.
Well, guess what? 2 to 4 p.m., open mic. So if it couldn't get any worse, let's get an open mic going.
Headline with the open mic.
With an open mic. Think about that.
Closing this out is Hatebreed and fucking Ted Nugent.
Yes, the Nuge is there. He's the only one. He's going to lead a hunting party afterwards. When I finish my set, everybody grabs your crossbow and follow me. Let's go.
This one's called Stranglehold.
We're hunting deer. We're hunting deer. So also the Rock House Music Festival, which they claim there'll be beer furnished by Mother's Brewing Company and a variety of food vendors and all sorts of horse shit. Bring your own lawn chairs and sunscreen, everybody. Ticket price is $30 at the gate for this horse shit.
This is the worst festival ever and overpriced.
It's way overpriced. The musical lineup, though, Andy Hout, Signal Ridge, National Park Radio,
That's where they just put the CV on, listen to the Park Service.
There it is. Oh, did you hear that? There's a poacher. Hold on. Let's see how this works out. The Creek Rocks.
Oh.
Okay. Kyle Reed and the Low Swingin' Chariots.
Just a bunch of old dudes.
Swing
their pants
low.
off.
They sing 2 songs. A couple religious hymns and shit with their pants off.
And long balls.
Low Swingin' Chariots. And their dance is just a sway back and forth. It's fucking mesmerizing.
Hypnotizes the audience.
Yeah, hypnotizes them. Once in a while, one goes one way, and it's like those balls guys keep on the table at work. They just do it that way. They're nutsacks. Violet and the Undercurrents, and Randall Shreve and the DeVilles. So there's that. Special guest, Joanne McMillan's Flying Heart Puppet Theater.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Joanne McMillan's nephew.
He's going to be at the open mic. And then you come here. Holy shit. So there's descriptions, but we don't have time for it.
It sounds terrible.
That sounds terrible, everybody. Not good. I don't want to fucking go there. So
I'm trying so hard to like this town, and everything is...
It's not.
Just fuck you.
Yeah, it's not good. It's really not. You really have to, I think, grow up in this town to like this town or to want to be here.
I get it, too.
Just walk around and be fascinated.
Right.
Wow.
Local pride or utter confusion.
Yeah, one of the two. That's pretty much what most towns give you. That's why this show, I don't get it when people get offended when we make fun of towns. It's like every single town in America is like that. If you're not from there, if you just pull off the interstate to the place, you go, what the fuck is that? People live here?
Right.
Every town.
Why is there an oversized
The one you're
rooster?
from, the one I'm from, the one you're from, all of us. So don't be so sensitive.
Sedona is beautiful. It's an amazing town. And you go through it, and there's an enormous chicken made of fucking steel on the side of the road.
Ridiculous.
It's for sale.
Yeah.
Why is that there?
Why? Why is that
who's
there?
Gonna buy that?
Why'd they paint it turquoise like everything else? So crime rate in this town, what we're interested in, it's low. It's not a lot of people to steal or kill. Property crime here is about 1/3 under the national average. That's not bad. And then violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and of course assault, the Mount Rushmore of crime, is about 2/3 2/3 under the national average.
Very safe.
It's like 1/3, as violent as the rest of the country. That said, let's talk about a horrifically violent murder.
All right.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked, God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. But why don't you focus also, you look at green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well.
Right.
And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Let's do it. Okay. Now, oh my God. First of all, there will be, I'll tell you right now, we've had the dog finding a leg. We had cats finding a torso. There will be no pet otter named Billy that finds a human hand this week. I promise you that.
God damn it.
I can't, I know. I would have loved to keep.
My favorite part.
People thought I was looking for shit I'm not looking for, just happened to be a weird coincidence that this story in the middle of it. I'm like, wait, the cats found the boat? The fuck is happening?
A pack of wild feral cats just eating a body.
Just eating a torso. This is a little bit different here. Now, right away, I have to credit a just a few little segments that came from a book that I'd like to credit called Almost Midnight by Michael W. Cuneo. Just gave some good background on a couple of these people, so that's pretty much all we used out of it, but still, give credit where credit's due.
Sure.
Now, let's talk about a couple of people first off. Here's a guy named Lloyd Lawrence.
Yeah.
Double L. And Lloyd is a double L name, so
that's a lot of
that's really triple L. He's pushing it, honestly. Mm-hmm. So it's better than, I guess, being Carl Carnes spelled like that. But still, his wife is named Frankie Lawrence.
Oh,
and they're Frankie's. I like a guy's name used as a girl's name for some reason.
Cute.
I think, my female dog is named Frankie, so
that's true,
I dig that. Yeah, that's cool. Charlie, or I don't know. I think that's cool.
Charlie's a good one. Nikki's a good one.
Nikki goes either way. Nikki goes either way.
Nikki's great.
Nikki is either a cool chick with a couple tattoos that you can't see.
Yeah.
Or one of my guinea cousins from Pennsylvania, because I have 4 of them named Nikki.
Right.
Yeah. I have cousins that are brothers named Nikki and Vinny.
Right.
I'm not kidding. It's very bad.
But Terry's weird.
Super strange.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, Terry is not good for a man or a woman,
no.
I don't think, or anybody, really. Terry is just terrible for anything. No one wants to be named Terry. With an I, with a Y. Yeah. Fuck Terry.
That was my go-to for prank phone calls. I was always Terry.
Because that's true, because it's just no one would name himself Terry. That's why. If you call up and say, this is Thor, they know you're full of shit. But if you say, I'm Terry, they're like, it's got to be Terry.
It's got to be telling the truth.
Yeah, otherwise, I'm surprised he didn't lie and say something else. He's on the phone. I didn't know it wasn't Terry. Terry could have got away with one here.
That's a fun one.
He could have not been Terry for once in his fucking life. So Lloyd Lawrence and his wife Frankie Lawrence, we'll catch up with them in the 80s here. And in the late 80s, they're in their 50s, in their 60s. They were married in 1947.
Sweet Jesus.
So yeah, they've been married a while. They're I think 67 and 68 years old at this moment in time, and in the late 80s. They're both heavy set people. Frankie's a real kind of gregarious lady. She's a real friendly, outgoing kind of lady, happy-go-lucky.
Yeah.
Lloyd is a character. Okay, let's just say that. So they've been married, 40 years at this point. So they're definitely a couple, and they've been successful in business in this town. Not in this town, in other places. They have one of their properties is here, so they come here sometimes. They also come here because this place is part of Lloyd's meth empire. Lloyd is like, now I haven't seen Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad's one of those shows where
I've heard it's great.
I hear it's great, and I want to watch it in its entirety, and I've always been like, well, I have to start it, but I don't want to start it right now, so I have to see it eventually. But I know the general premise of the guy, and he's sick, and Walter White is sick, and he starts
to start selling meth.
Yeah, so now I haven't seen it to know the setup, but I assume that just based on how dramatic things work and how you write scripts, that there is already a meth dealer there that he has to contend with, who's then mad at him for whatever. Okay.
The other nice part about the movie or show,
who's the bad guy?
Right.
Yeah.
The other nice part about it is that Walter White is very unassuming. You would look at the guy and never suspect meth dealer.
Well, yeah, because he was a teacher.
Right.
I know that much. He's a teacher. He's a mild-mannered guy. He's a straight guy his whole life, right? And then he just has cancer, and he's like, well, fuck it, I can't afford to,
the only way I can afford to
it.
treat this is through illegal means. And
talk about America in a nutshell.
Right. I haven't seen it, and I already know that he's fucking good at it.
His health insurance sucks, and everyone wants meth. Right. Okay, great. That's America. Yeah, it might as well be a flag. So, now...
Health insurance sucks and everybody loves meth.
Exclamation point, stars and stripes behind it. So that's our battle flag. Yeah. So now these two here, what I'm saying is, I've never seen it, but I assume there was like a guy who Walter White had to meet with. Try not to get killed by, who's already entrenched and all that. Whoever that guy is, that's Lloyd Lawrence.
Really?
Whoever the bad guy is. Yeah.
He's fucking intense, huh?
He's a heavy hitter. He is the king of rural Missouri meth at this time. He's a known as
in
kind
his
of a
60s.
He's been doing it for a while too.
Wow.
He's been cooking it up, and he has, because he's a guy, basically they replaced moonshine stills in the backwoods with fucking meth sheds. Right. That's all they did. Yeah. Literally, they were like, well, switch that over. Right. And it was like a factory reconditioning.
That doesn't make any more money. What does? Yeah. And that's what we're gonna make.
Nobody wants to buy a Ford. Let's make respirators or whatever the fuck it is. That's what he did. Right. A lot of these rednecks did this down there. These hillbillies, actually, to be more specific, they are hillbillies. So, they did that. Basically, how he got into this is the type of guy he is. So he's an onion, this guy. Yeah. How he got into his meth dealing was because he was the southern Missouri, rural Missouri, cockfighting, dog-fighting impresario.
Sweet Jesus. Are you going to make him endearing at all? He's a piece of shit.
He was the guy who would set up the cockfight. He'd be like the guy, like a fat guy with a cigar sitting there, taking bets from people. That's him.
Fuck.
He's setting up, and then he figured out at all of these, because it's like a late night thing of an all night cockfight. Right. People there like meth.
Yeah.
If you're into cockfighting and dirty all night things that happen in the woods, maybe some crank will do you good, I guess. So he figured that out, and he's like, well, while they're here, it's almost like a concession. He figured out they probably want hot dogs. I can probably sell them beer,
some pretzels,
and they all want meth.
Yeah,
fuck yeah. So he decided, based on that, to start making meth, and then it just ballooned.
Wow.
Because meth is
pretty soon that makes more money than cockfighting, and you just stop that shit.
Why would you cockfight? Right. It's harder to cockfight. You got to arrange a big thing.
You got to get your cock out.
You got to get cocks, and then dog fighting too. Right. So it's,
God, what an empire.
What a weird empire.
I can't imagine being involved in that. It's somebody with a fucking heart for animals.
It's so
That's
weird.
Crazy.
And there's little pockets of culture that are into like dog fighting.
Yeah.
It's mainly down south,
Yeah.
and it's little where it's like it's such a ingrained cultural thing that you're like, that's cockfighting, dog fighting. It's just very weird.
I've tripped over my dog and he let out a howl that I was oh my God, what did I do?
It's not good at all. It's horrible.
And they're letting them fucking murder each other.
It's crazy. Oh, they're fucking forcing them to murder each other. Never mind letting. So they're making. So also all the bars then he kind of filled with meth. So basically if you bought meth in the 80s in the Ozarks, you bought his meth. He was the king of meth here. And it was undisputed. Nobody fucked with him. Yeah. There was no Walter White, nobody that he had to worry about. He was the fucking man. So, he did everything in the hills, back tucked away in the hollers in the hills. Nobody goes back there. There's no fucking cops investigating the fucking hills. People shoot at government people back there. Literally, who's that, a census man? Take a shot at him. It's like the front of the old Mountain Dew bottle. It's fucking weird down there at this time. So whatever you do back in them hollers is your fucking business pretty much down there. So if you want to make meth, they do that. There was a few cops that, kind of people that look out for this type of shit like they did with moonshiners back in the day, but it's not really...
Those are like actual cowboys, like rebels.
I'm a county marshal.
Right. The lieutenant isn't telling them to do that. They're just doing it on their personal time.
I suppose. I don't... They're doing it. They're just casually strolling by a cockfight at night, and there's a lot of meth around here. So, Lawrence Lloyd was the most prominent cockfighting promoter there, and he became involved in the meth business, and he figured out a trick during the cockfights also. This is another reason he got involved in meth, that if you feed
meth to an animal,
feed meth to a rooster, that rooster fights harder than the other rooster.
I almost asked you a few minutes ago, were they giving it to the birds?
Yeah, he gave it to the birds.
Wow.
So the chickens were so fucking, into it, and so that's kind of how he got started into meth. He was making it to jack his birds up, making small batches.
Got him gacked up.
That's how
Wow.
That's how he started making his first batches, was literally just as bird fuel to fight some sort of crazy bird PCP. Wow. And then from there, he was like, people want this shit too. I could just make more.
I am grossed out.
Yeah, like he's like giving his bird meth, and someone was like, "Got any extra of that for me?" Is that specific bird formula?
I imagine he did it with like an eyedropper into their mouth, right? Somehow made it. I don't know. Form,
I think he just jammed it. He probably had like a fucking rock of it and just jammed it into its mouth, closed its beak, and shut it. He'll swallow it eventually. You give him about 15 minutes, he'll be pecking his little balls off. Let me tell you what.
Hide it in the bird seed?
I'll tell you what, yeah.
Hide it in the sunflower seed?
Yeah. Do like Kenny versus Spenny with the goat.
What?
When he put he put Red Bull in the goats. They were tied to goats.
Yeah.
That was the bet, who could be tied to a goat longest. So
how were they tied to him?
They had a rope that was tied to the goat's collar, and it was tied to their ankle.
Okay, got it.
It was tied to their ankle, so the goats are dragging them around and shit. So the goats are stronger than these idiots.
Yeah.
So Kenny was fucking with Spenny's goat to make him hyper. He went in and he put he replaced its water with Red Bull, and then he put a bunch of like espresso grounds mixed in with the goat's food. And like 15 minutes later, this goat was like jetting back and forth and like stopping and like looking around like all paranoid, and then running again and like
dragging him by the foot.
Yeah, he's going, Jesus, what the fuck? Stop, please. And Kenny's going, what'd you do to your goat, dude? What'd you do to him? Did you touch him? Is he trying
to get away from you?
Yeah, what are you doing to him,
dude? Did you put his balls in a pony?
I bet you put his balls in a ponytail, didn't you, Spenny, you fucking weirdo? So, so he's a big deal in the Missouri meth business here. He's a badass, not known as a nice guy, Lawrence Lloyd. There are rumors, and I don't know if this is true or not. I'm not going to fucking say this is true, obviously, because we have no idea of knowing. But the fact that a rumor like this would spread and nobody would think it was ridiculous means you're not a good guy, probably.
Smoke, there's fire.
Well, not just people went like, well, that makes sense. Yeah, he's a bad guy. So, I mean, shit, I've seen him do worse than that.
Right.
So it might be true, is there's alleged to have raped his own daughters even. Like that kind of guy.
Good Lord.
But we don't know if that's true.
Did you say plural?
Plural.
Oh,
yeah, obviously. I mean, I'll stop at one. Yeah, he doesn't have a favor.
Oh, my.
Yeah, he's disgusting. So, anyway, also have a lot of people have, have been beaten and everything over the meth business, which, I mean, that's all in the game. And if you're getting involved in the rural Missouri meth business, you can expect to get, a little dirty from now time to time.
Getting meth without the express, consent of giving money for that, that's usually the only time they get mad at you.
That's the thing. It's really, it's all in the game.
It's generally, you give me this, I give you this. That's what it is.
For the most part, you owe money, or you did something fucked up, or you're trying to push in on his territory or something. If you know this guy has got the territory and you're going to push in on it, let's do so at your own risk.
Street rules
is what I'm getting at. Yeah. So he also dabbles in other shit. He does a little gambling and loan sharking. He's got his own little mafia syndicate going on, except with cockfighting mixed in. Now his oldest son has a child that's kind of his he takes a liking to. By the mid 80s here,
Lloyd takes a liking.
Lloyd likes him. He takes him under his wing. He tries to protect him.
His grandson
it is. So this is by the mid 80s. Well, we'll put it this way, his name is Willie, the grandson. By 1986, Willie is in a car accident and is paralyzed from the waist down.
Oh no.
So he's a paraplegic, in a wheelchair. So he's bound to a wheelchair here. So, and that helps also. And he's always been Lloyd's favorite, but then after that, Lloyd really, he's always taken care of him. And, there's a special relationship with Willie, basically. So by the time 1987, 1988, Willie's 18 years old. Everybody says he's a good looking kid and everything else, and had a, pretty bright kid and a bright future. And then he's, paralyzed, and it kind of bums him out a little bit also. And since then, he's had a lot of problems in the couple years since, from 86 to 88. Few problems. He suffered burns to his feet at one point from he was messing around in this old car with his friends, and there was the muffler got too hot under the floor or something,
and he couldn't move.
He couldn't feel it. And his feet got badly burned because he couldn't feel them because he's a paraplegic. So that was a tough thing. So he was really just having a hard time with shit like that, getting used to the whole thing. But in the late 80s here, 88, they found a way for him to have some fun and be able to get around on his own, because otherwise he's just in this wheelchair, and he's really fucking bummed out about it, as I don't blame him. He's a teenage kid that was running around one second and not the next. So
quadriplegic or paraplegic?
Paraplegic.
So he's got his hands.
He's got his arms, but he has no legs.
All right,
so he's got something. Yeah. Well, what they do is they get a four-wheeler for him.
Hell yeah.
And they give, so he can go all around the...
Retrofit it for his hand control.
No. This is the Jimmy. Where are we?
What the fuck did they do?
Hold on a second. Do you think? Let's go. Wait. I want to. Before you take any guesses, I want to know what was going through your head. Did you picture him like loading this four-wheeler onto a trailer and like driving it to a place that like a mechanic has where they retrofitted it? That's what you picture.
Yeah.
This is
he's got money from meth.
Yeah, but this is it doesn't matter, Jimmy.
He's your favorite.
This is the back hills of, you know what they did, Jimmy?
Yeah,
you know what they did? They tied his feet to the handlebars with shoelaces.
What?
That's what they did. They tied this poor fucking kids. They secured him to the vehicle by tying the shoelaces of his sneakers to the front rack.
Oh, James, that's
above the wheels.
So there's a four-wheel drive. If it's a four-wheel drive four-wheeler, on the front there's a rack where you can like load firewood or a fucking body of a carcass
shit on the front.
So his feet are up on the fenders. And they laced his shoes to the rack.
They just tied his shoes to the rack, and then he can move it around with his arms,
and he can steer.
How crazy is this?
The problem is the brakes are down where your feet are.
That's an issue, but he figures it out. So I mean, think about this though.
Holy shit.
Think about seeing this fly by on a dirt road. What the fuck is that? Did you see? Hey, are you all right? Did someone do that to you against your will? No, you're happy? Okay, fuck. I feel terrible for this kid, and he loves it, though. So, I mean, hey, good for him, but they could have done something better for him than this.
Some hand controls and a seatbelt or something.
He wants to get around, does he? Yeah, it sucks being in that wheelchair. That's right. Even the motor don't go very fast, especially on that dirt. 88?
Yeah, they just saw Weekend at Bernie's.
On that
like,
dirt.
You see him in the boat, they just tied him back there.
I mean, tell you what, just tie his shoelaces on him. No, right on his sneakers. Just take the bow and just tie it right around that rack and just hang it up there. Same thing. Otherwise, they're just going to fly behind you and just drag in the dirt. You don't want that, do you?
He's going to Superman it.
Wow. Hillbilly ingenuity at its fucking finest here. Holy shit, dude.
Tied his feet to the four-wheel drive rack.
I've never heard of that before, ever. So, have you? This is insanity. And you know redneckery.
I've seen four-wheelers. I've seen people do wild shit on them. Nothing like that.
Never.
No.
Never. So, it seems dangerous, too. Like, if he fell off, he'd be hanging off by his shoelaces, right?
Yeah. Like, if you fall off, you are dangling by your feet.
Yeah, that's not
Pray
good.
to Christ your feet come out of those shoes?
Yeah,
I don't know.
There's a reason why this in snowboarding the bindings pop when something happens, so it doesn't twist you because you're stuck on something.
Snap your fucking ankles.
In skateboarding, when something's going wrong, you bail,
right?
Because you're not attached to the board.
You can't bail this way.
No, this is crazy. So, my God. Anyway, so Lawrence, you know, he plays a little close to the edge here. We'll just say fast and loose with the fucking.
He is not
selling meth.
Safety fifth. Let's go.
Feeding meth to fucking fighting roosters, doing all sorts of shit, threatening people, tying his paraplegic grandson's feet to the rack of a four-wheeler and sending him on his way.
Well, the problem is that he's been successful in things, so let's see how this works is a life slogan for him.
And it works.
Yeah.
And it works.
Everything works. Well, let's see how this works. My bank account got bigger.
It works
constantly.
Hey, so what are you going to do? So 1987, Lawrence meets somebody here. He meets a young man, not young, he's about 40 at this time, named Daryl Meese is his name, M-E-A-S-E, Meese.
Plural of moose.
Plural of moose, as John Candy would say. So, but that was from that, right?
I think so.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So he's a Vietnam vet with a meth problem. Okay. Which those two things go together not well. No. You don't want that's oil and water right there.
If you're a meth dealer, that's the guy you need.
He's got some PTSD. Right. He's got some lingering issues from Vietnam in addition to a meth problem, 2 ex-wives and 5 kids ages 2 to 18 at this point in time when they meet. So
I have a meth problem too.
Yeah, he's running the full kind of backwoods gamut of I've fucked my life up here basically. Not Vietnam because he got drafted, not his I mean not that it was I wouldn't say like, somebody's fault, but I mean, he didn't volunteer for it or anything like that. It's 1966. He got drafted. Now, he grew up in this area. This is where he's from.
Really?
Yeah, they're not. The Lawrences are not from here, but he is from this area. He is born and raised backwoods holler hill boy. Yeah. He grew up here. He said when he was a kid, everybody said he was a real nice kid. Yeah. Daryl, a very nice kid, decent. He was he was an outdoor kid. Yeah. One of these kids, like all of them were in this time. We're talking, in the late 50s. Right. Think about late 50s in the middle of nowhere. We'll talk about it. At one point, we'll talk about when they used to go to their aunt's house because they'd take their donkey over to the aunt's house because she had, quote, the only TV in the holler. So, you know what I mean? Like everyone would go there to see the TV when something was on. And when Hee-Haw was, I don't know what the fuck was on in 1959, but something. So anyway, he, liked to hunt, liked to fish, liked to explore caves and all that kind of shit. Was very much into church, as we'll talk about. Very much into church. Now, in this book, there is an interesting quote here, very interesting quote that I wanted to pass along here. Quote, local Ozarks kids came by their knowledge of outlaw culture honestly. It was a part of their lived experience. The region was steeped not only in piety, but also in criminality. The preacher and the outlaw stood side by side in the local Ozarks mythology, the one proclaiming repentance and eternal glory, and the other vengeance and going for broke, both promising relief from grievances real and imagined, ancient and new. That describes this area a lot. Yeah. It really is true. They feel like we're God-fearing, pious people. So when we break the law, it's because we have to,
right? And
that's what we have to do. Like, they feel like that. Yet they don't like other people who are in shit situations that do that. It's a weird, it's a weird hillbilly dichotomy they have, but whatever.
If a country boy can survive, James.
It's strange. So he started out, Daryl, hunting with a BB gun when he was 6, going out and hunting BBs, which sounds like fun.
Well,
not hunting, but having a BB gun at 6.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
We were watching Mad Men a while back, and they're having a party at their house there, and this kid comes over with somebody, and family comes over, and there's a little boy there who's 9 or something, and Don looks at him and he goes, "Hey, why don't you go out back with the other kids? There's I'm sure there's some peanut butter sandwiches and a BB gun to play with." Sends him on.
Get on out of here.
Literally, a little tussle of his hair, and sends him on his way. Get the fuck out of here while we drink scotch.
Right.
And just sends him to go shoot things and eat peanut butter. And I'm like, great, that sounds awesome.
Well, I mean, a Red Ryder isn't all that dangerous. It can fucking hurt people for sure.
Especially the way we used
were a nightmare.
Oh, that's what.
But you would pump those until you couldn't
pump
get
them 25 times. They would go fucking 5 inches into a tree. Like, those things were with a pellet. Those not a BB, but the pellet ones.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
That'll go in an ass cheek, and it'll stay in there until
they'll go in a skull if you pump it up 25 times.
Shit, yeah.
Those are fucking dangerous. Yeah, but this is, being a kid, though, to say, like, you go run around, play with a BB gun, you'd be like, fuck yeah. I'm just going to shoot trees and, set up targets and shit. I don't know, whatever you do when you're 6, when you've seen cowboys and stuff.
Cans and stuff.
Especially back then. This was all that's on TV is cowboys back then. So finally, though, he started out with a BB gun, and then when he was about 10, he turned it into a single-shot 22, which he made his own money picking walnuts when he was 9, and he saved up walnut money to buy a 22
okay. I
rifle.
thought you were saying he converted a BB gun into
No.
I was like, what the? How the fuck do you even do that?
And then he tied a paraplegic's shoestrings to a steering wheel and taught him how to drive. No, that's not what happened.
This guy can convert a BB gun to a 22, but he can't give this guy a hand.
Exactly. So, no, he at 9, though, he started a walnut picking business to get enough money to buy a 22. So he really wants to shoot things, apparently. So he'd go into the woods, they said, for hours at a time. Yeah. He had a little mixed breed terrier named Bull Junk and Iron, which is a terrible name for a dog.
That's a name.
That's a name. I guess you just call him Bull.
It's not 2?
No, that's one dog. Bull Junk and Iron. That's very unwieldy.
Bull Junk?
Bull Junk and Iron.
What is that?
It beats the shit out of me. I don't know if it's like a 50s newspaper fucking funny page reference or something. I have no clue, but makes no sense. I don't trust him to name anything, put it that way. When he has children in the future, I hope his wives name them because he's bad at shit. So they said he'd go into the woods at 10 years old with a gun and a dog for hours, and they just let him go in there and have fun. Yeah. So he learned how to, I don't know what this is, bark squirrels. Okay. Does that mean to, like, take bark off them, like skin them, or does that mean to call them?
I imagine it's call them.
Okay.
And then you pop them.
And then you bark them after that. And you feel it, right? I don't know what the fuck.
Or maybe him and Bull Junk taught squirrels how to bark, and then they had their own secret language.
You know what? I think that's what it was. It is the back. I don't know what happens in the backwoods, so I'm going to trust you. Bark squirrels.
I imagine it's like gigging frogs.
I think so. Like, or noodle and catfish or some shit. Something like that. Some southern weird pill term.
Or fucking sheep. It's the same thing.
Same thing. It's all there. So he'd also hunt groundhogs, rabbits, foxes, possum, raccoon, and quail.
Yeah.
And he'd bring it home, and his mom would cook it for dinner.
He would shoot a quail with a single-shot 22? That's impressive.
Oh, wait till you hear how impressive a shot he is. Yeah. They said that they ate a lot of groundhog burgers when he was a kid because he shot so many groundhogs.
That's
there was
gross.
A lot around there, and I think they're probably easy to shoot. They don't look very spry.
Nimble.
They don't look too nimble. Like a quail, those things are like lightning. Yeah. They fucking bolt.
They fly.
A groundhog looks like it's just a fat fuck.
Yeah.
It comes out, looks around all fat and lazy.
And goes back inside.
And goes back to sleep. Yeah. You should probably just shoot it while it's sleeping.
Right.
You don't even have to do anything. So
he's got quite the fucking selection of animals.
Yeah, he just lives in the woods and hangs out in the woods
pretty
all the time.
Anything that's small and moves, he'll kill it.
And furry, he'll kill it, and his mom will cook it, and they'll eat it. So.
Something adorable, he'll eat it.
Oh yeah, he'll go, isn't it cute? Sure is. I'm going to shoot it right in the face. So there's a story about one time where he and a friend were walking he and his brother were walking their donkey to their aunt's house, who had, quote, the only TV in the holler there. So at one time they went, and while they were walking down the road, the donkey got pissy and knocked the cart over. So they were trying to pick it up. And we're talking about, I mean, they're probably barefoot, overall wearing, they look like Huck Finn, these kids.
This is a Mark Twain book.
It's literally a Mark Twain book. And people who were passing through in cars stopped and said, oh, look at the little hillbillies. Isn't this adorable? And started taking pictures of them. So after a while, 4 or 5 cars stopped taking pictures of the hillbillies. And they were like, pose with the donkey and like, this is going to be great. No one's going to believe this. This is hilarious. This is real. Holy shit. Like,
I didn't even notice we entered a zoo.
This is great. Is this a zoo? So they did all of this, and people started like throwing him change.
Oh.
Like, cause they thought him as a little hillbilly urchin. So they were like, it snapped a few shots and then tossed a dime at him.
Yeah.
So they said they got at one point to their aunt's house and they had 50 cents. Which isn't too bad for 1958 or whatever. That's not a bad haul there.
It's a down payment on a house.
That's it. Yeah, you could probably buy half a holler for that, I think. So now, when he's 4 years old, this is when he's really cemented in religion. Yeah. His mom starts taking him to the Reed Spring Free Pentecostal Church, which I'm sure is a very forgiving, loving place where they never talk about revenge or anger or say anything wild.
It was not horrifying at all.
A backwoods Pentecostal church. Imagine how scary that would be for a child. God. I mean, nothing's more frightening for a child than like an old school Catholic church. Nothing. Right. Nothing's more frightening than the lights and the smoke and the fucking Latin chanting. That's frightening.
In the fucking goth robes.
Yeah, because you didn't even know what they were saying. They could have been saying, then we sacrifice the children. We shall cut their faces off. We had no idea, I guess, whereas they knew that they were talking about crazy hellfire shit. So... it's scary.
Damnation and burn for eternity. Those words were said.
Oh, you know it.
Yeah.
Very often. The church was housed in a former feed store just off Main Street, probably somewhere near the storefront you can buy nowadays and live behind. Might be the same place for all we know here. Right next to the garment factory where his dad worked. Okay. So, which was, she took him to services on Sundays and Wednesdays, and he was into it. He was into church at the time. He liked it, actually. He thought it was they said it kind of, just kind of took his whole imagination. He looked at it almost like mythology, but he believed it and all that. But he was as interested in it as people are in like mythology stories and stuff. He thought he was interested in it. He also liked the shouting and the singing and the, shit. He liked people speaking in tongues. He thought that shit was cool, which... yeah, no, I'm not even frightened by that. I'm just, I don't want to get into it because then people get mad at me when I say shit about religion. But the speaking in tongues, I'm like,
come on.
Even Stevie was like, come on.
Yeah.
They
tried to tell him just go with it.
They were like, just do it. Just do it. And he was like, well, I'm just not feeling it. They're like, it doesn't fucking matter. Just go blah, 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 blah. Who cares? Just fucking say it. Everyone's looking. That's what I was like, okay, this is, So I get that you're feeling it, and that's fine. You want to feel it, do what you want. But not everybody's actually feeling it.
Force somebody to feel it.
Yeah. Or else you're out, or you're, ostracized, or not ostracized, but you're
not
different.
Accepted.
Yeah. So he liked it though. He looked forward to the everything there, the revivals and all that kind of shit. It was at the age of 10 that he was born again into the Pentecostal church there. And
Jesus, at 10 he needed to be born again.
That's when you join the church officially at that point there. So he took it very serious. He was super into it. His mom was very proud of him. She noticed that one time, here's an example, that him and his brother would have, and their cousins would have spear fights listen to this line, they like to have spear fights by Shacktown next to the old cannery.
Oh my.
There's an old cannery where the workers had these little like makeshift shacks that they lived in that was all closed down and decrepit.
That's Shacktown.
That's Shacktown, and the kids use that as their own personal like little war zone, I guess.
Some abandoned shanty village.
Yeah, so they get dried out horse weeds 6 or 7 feet long and throw them at each other, trying to score direct hits, which is really nothing because we used to throw worse shit at that.
Is grassweed, is it a stick? Is it firm or does it like snap when it hits you?
I don't know.
I hope it's not fucking life-threatening.
Well, one time when I was a teenager, we found some woods and we were in these woods and my friend built a fire.
Yeah.
And he took this big long stick. It was probably 6 feet long.
Yeah.
And it was thick too. It was a good sized stick. It was like a
inch round.
Like the handle of a baseball bat,
good
basically.
Fuck, James.
Like a good size. And just sitting there over the course of 2 hours, he was just like putting it in the coals of the fire and like twisting it around.
He's burn sharpening it.
And he made this the most pointy red. It was like 4 inches of straight burning red coal in an exact point that could fucking pierce a wall, right? So then another one of my friends two of them start coming they're in the woods and they go, hey, blah, blah, blah. So my friend who was sharpening the stick stands up, turns toward them, and just hurls it like a javelin thrower. And they are 30 yards away. This kid is the worst athlete I've ever seen that threw this. We played baseball, like he couldn't throw it to you.
Right.
He threw this fucking stick. We watched it sail through the air like a fucking tracer in the Iraq War, because you could just see that red coal tracing through the air. My friend on the other side didn't see it. It hit him right in the chest. Direct hit to his chest. He screamed, ow, my nipple, which is the funniest line I've ever heard in my life. And sparks exploded like fireworks. The whole head of the thing exploded into sparks.
Holy shit.
And he's getting, fire out of his hair. It's in his hair and fucking his shirt's on fire. And we laughed for about a half hour. Even he laughed about it, the one who was hitting the chest.
But if he wasn't hurt,
pretty funny.
It's pretty fucking cool.
Oh, he had a huge burn and a welt. It was horrific. It was horrific. He was hurt, definitely. But that's what boys do to each other, is what I'm getting at.
So I wonder if was it hay straw? What was it that he threw?
Horseweed.
I want to know how thick
I want to know how to bark a squirrel, and I want to know what the fuck a horseweed is. These are the two things I'm interested in.
Or is barking a squirrel, is it like gentle, like burping a baby? Do you
Maybe
pick up the infant
and then it goes
squirrels? Go on, little fella.
That's good. Then you pick. Hey, buddy. You see one? He looks just kind of. He looks gassy.
He looks like he's
You pick him up and he goes, and then you. I barked him.
Yeah.
It's feeling better now.
I barked a squirrel. Now I'm going to go shoot a possum.
Look at the little fucker playing with his nuts now. All right, shoot him. You don't shoot a squirrel till it's barked. That's the rule.
If you don't shoot him, if you shoot him before he's barked, he'll explode.
That's the thing. Happens. Yeah, explode like the end of that stick. So the weeds apparently were pointy and tough and apparently sort of dangerous. So they had their own thing here, which was no hitting above the shoulders, which is honestly kind of pussy.
Yeah.
Darryl was 13 at this point. When I was 13, we were having firework wars.
Right.
Literally shooting Roman candles at each other from 4 feet away, right at each other's faces.
Cutting the stick off the bottle rocket and just lighting it, throwing at each other.
That's what we were doing.
I mean, we were run, fucker.
We were hucking whole packs of fucking firecrackers at each other.
Yeah.
The Roman candles were when someone lit a Roman candle, everyone, oh shit, and people would scatter. One time, my friend had one that was a Roman candle that was I don't know why we're getting into these stories, but a Roman candle that was also M80s. So
that's not cool.
It would shoot out and then explode.
Yeah.
Boom, which was cool in the air, but at somebody,
it's horrifying.
Absolutely, deadly and dangerous. Fireballs that explode. So he said, "Oh yeah, motherfuckers," and he lit it, and everybody scattered. So he thought it was funny, so he just put it in the middle of the street. So it would just shoot in the middle of the street, like I'm not. Over. He wasn't going to shoot anybody because that was fucked up. He did that as like a thing of, I'm not actually going to shoot you, but everybody scatter.
Right.
So anyway, it'd be like whipping out a Tommy gun when everyone's having a super soaker fight, and you come out with a machine gun.
Right.
So he put it over, one shot into the air, poof, and then it fell over, and the next 9 went into the fucking driver's side door of this car that was parked there. And there's nothing we could do about it because it's
gonna go get it.
Shoot. boom into the and how loud an exploding M80 is on fucking door tin is amazing. I mean, boom! People came out of their houses. We ran away. The cops came.
There's 9 of them.
It was bad, and it was just boom 9 times, and we're like, it's never going to stop. Oh my god, how many of these are there? Holy fuck! Are there extra in this one? Holy shit!
How many did it say on the side? I don't know.
It sounded like the neighborhood was being attacked with fucking like air support. That's what it's like, because it was just boom,
and
hitting
it
this
lights
metal.
up.
Oh man,
yellow and pink and blue and green.
Oh, it was festive, Jimmy. It was really festive, man.
It's gorgeous.
So apparently, one evening he was 13. One of his cousins hit him in the side of the head, and when he got up, he couldn't see anything out of his left eye. He got hit in the eye. So he was dazed, and he came home, and he was all out of it, and he went straight up to his room, and he prayed for healing.
Yeah.
By the way, before anybody, do not ever turn this episode off till it's over, because the end of this is more fucked up than any of this, by the way. It's crazy. So anyway, he goes up to his room and prays for his sight to return. And 3 hours later, he can see again. As the swelling went down, and he took that as a sign that he is blessed by the Lord and oversaw more than others.
Okay.
He's got a nice umbrella over him. He was good in high school, actually. He was decent grades. He wasn't like a slacker. He wasn't in trouble a lot. He dated a little bit, but he had friends and girls liked him. He didn't have any knock anybody up when he was 15, but he dated around a little bit, that sort of thing. He just kind of had a typical early 60s
small town America youth.
Small town upbringing, decent grades. Wasn't one to study extra or anything like that, but he'd still get B's or something. And he was happy with that. He would, in the yearbook, they showed that he played varsity basketball his senior year. Mm-hmm. So they showed him in his jersey there. He wore number 74 on the football team. He played on the line. Mm-hmm. He played both ways on the line. So not bad. Yep. He was doing that. He was in the senior class production. He's in a play. Senior class production of Hillbilly Weddin'.
What is that?
Weddin', apostrophe. Yeah. Hillbilly Weddin'.
Isn't that just Lil Abner?
Yeah, I think that's just Weddin'.
Yeah.
Is what that should have been called. Local Weddin'. Local folks marry.
Right.
Also on the track team there. I mean, he did a lot. He was doing things, doing extracurriculars, that sort of shit. So, he had a future of he's going to be a decent citizen around there. His mother even thought maybe he'd be a preacher. Really? She was thinking he's into the church. Maybe he'll be a preacher, which she would have been super proud of. He used to entertain his friends. He could flick quarters into the air and draw his pistol and shoot them out of the air.
Wow.
Quarters.
That's impressive.
Fucking quarters.
Yeah.
That's very impressive. He would throw it up, then draw and shoot at the same time, not have his gun out first.
Right.
That's really impressive.
And he's flicking it like a revolving door. You don't know how you're going to catch that.
Boom, and shoot it.
That's unbelievable.
And he could do it like clockwork, they said, which was fucking seriously impressive.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. You need that money a couple days early, or go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmy had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. Yeah. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. Yeah. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover. Yeah. Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing. No. They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro-laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently. Wherever your problem areas are, tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's sonobello.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Yeah. High school ends. He starts working full-time at the town garment factory, which he got a job, and it's the 60s back then, and these kids weren't going to college a lot or anything, so he was happy to work at the garment factory. He was operating a heavy steam press, so that's
it's a big deal.
That's tough, but that's where his dad works too, so he'd hang out with his dad, and he'd have lunch with his dad and shit like that, and he liked kind of being able to work, and he saved some money, and he was hoping maybe to take a trip out west at some point.
Really?
He wanted to hunt, so he wanted to go hunt elk out in Colorado or go up to Alaska and hunt fucking bears or something.
Whatever the fuck they do up there.
Whatever big shit they got up there. But that's all he really wanted to do was hunt. August of 1965, he married a woman named Joyce. Mm-hmm. He was 19. She just finished the 11th grade, which is prime Marion. She's an old maid by then in 1965 in the hills.
Grade? What the fuck?
No, he was 19. Oh, she just got out of the 11th grade. She was 22 getting out of the 11th grade. It is the Ozarks, Jimmy. So she's very much past.
And it's not even that she was held back. She just started late.
That's all. Yeah.
Her parents found out that she needed to be in school when she was 9.
They just lost track of when the hell. How old is she? We should have put her in school 3 years ago. Goddamn.
I thought you did. I thought you did it.
I was wondering why she hanging around the house all the time and didn't know how to read. I asked her to read me something because I don't know either. Now, his mother thought that he really honestly thought about him maybe being a preacher, but in 1966 he gets a draft letter and he's going to Vietnam.
Oh boy.
And so different time now. So he goes to Vietnam. Apparently he leaves as a clean-cut kid shooting quarters out of the air, wanting to be a preacher, working at the garment factory, having lunch with his dad. Comes back a completely different guy.
I'm sure.
I mean, he left with the hair combed with the grease, perfectly
perfect part.
Yeah, perfect part and all that. He came home, long scraggly hair, facial hair, drinking, sullen, angry.
Yep.
Guy who's been in Vietnam for a few years and didn't fucking care for it. That is one of those guys. So. Yeah, he at one point he's sitting in a bar in a place called the Queen of Clubs, just around here, hanging out with his friends, and he tells one of his friends, the Marine Corps spent thousands of dollars teaching me how to kill, and I still haven't killed anyone. So he was upset about that.
He didn't get.
It's what he was said. This was while he was home on some leave or some shit. Okay. So I don't know if he didn't get to kill anyone over there or if I don't have any fucking idea how that works. But he ends up being married twice and having 5 children. Okay. So that, like we said, this guy is not on a basis for that right now.
That doesn't stink of a positive male role model. That seems he might be a little wacky,
a little flighty. Yeah. But I mean, hopefully, the thing is too, the guys didn't get help for that shit back then, right. And they didn't really offer help, and
they didn't even know what the fuck it was.
They didn't know what it was. They'd just be like, "He's fucked up,"
right?
Literally, he's fucked up. Stay away from Uncle Fred.
Right.
He might snap at any time, and it's fucking sad.
I had an uncle that was in Vietnam, and he actually kind of went the opposite, where he was always so happy.
Really?
Constantly just smiling.
Weird.
And I had heard stories after he died that that was not him when he came home. So I think he was just kind of forcing it.
Really?
Just like
it was so dark in there that he had to
fucked up inside there that on the outside he had to be.
So he was literally like a clown.
Yes.
Like
just faking.
Obviously full of murder on the inside, right. But on the outside has to
murder
act.
Every single one of you. Right.
Yeah, like
but
a
instead
clown.
I'm gonna play video games with this fucking kid.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ. So when he gets out though, he also starts doing drugs. And doesn't go to church anymore, obviously. He's done with that shit there. He lives in Kansas City for some time, goes to the big city.
Yeah.
Goes up there, sees a couple Royals games. He's like, now I'm a big city boy.
Yeah.
Can't go back to the Ozarks. But he does. He returns home to the Ozarks, becomes a carpenter, and does a bunch of jobs all around town doing different things. One of the people he meets that he works for a little bit around his property is a guy named Lloyd Lawrence, who we are well aware of here. And so he was a guy who would fit right into Lawrence's circle. At this point, he goes around, gets in fights at bars and fucking, not Lawrence, Meese does. He's getting in fights at bars. He's getting drunk. He's doing drugs. He's, acting like a local asshole. So, it's mainly little shit. Goes to cockfights. He's a huge cockfight enthusiast, Daryl, too. That's, I think, how he met Lloyd, was at cockfights, because he loves going to cockfights. Basically, he likes going to cockfights, getting drunk, and then getting in a fist fight at a cockfight, which is amazing. That's amazing. That's a different type of night out.
And all these birds' fights got me wanting to fight.
I'm jacked up right now. Oh, boy. What'd you say? You think that bird's going to win? Fuck that bird. I'll tell you. Start punching each other.
He's got a bloodlust like nobody.
He had a few kind of ins and outs with women at this point in time. This is, because he was drifted through the 70s and early 80s. Yeah. By the early 80s, he's just kind of, and mid 80s, once he meets Lloyd in 87, he's just kind of drifting, finding women that he meets in bars and having short relationships with them, and just not really doing anything. But finally, he meets a younger woman who's 21 years old, and her name is Mary Epps. And she is like kind of a nice girl. Mm-hmm. She's like a nice girl, way younger, someone who should not be hanging out with Daryl Meese at all.
What's happening here?
I don't know what her deal is, but I wish there was someone around to go, don't fucking hang out with him. She needs like a girlfriend or a sister to take her aside and be like, look,
somebody other than her parents.
I know you think he's, sexy outlaw shit and all that, but no. He's getting in fist fights at cockfights.
He's in his 40s.
And he's in his 40s. It's too old to be getting in fist fights at cockfights. I'm sorry. So, but they fall in love and they end up being together. They're not married here, but Meese and Larry Lawrence, though, or Lloyd Lawrence, they start talking a little bit more. And at one point, Daryl's doing some carpentry work on the property. And Lloyd asks him, hey, you want to make some money?
Yeah.
And he went, well, shit, I'm doing construction. Obviously, I want to make money or else I wouldn't be fixing your chicken pens, like I'm not doing this shit for my health, obviously. I'd much rather watch these chickens fight and then punch you after they're done. So he said that Lloyd said, I'm talking big money like you've never even thought of before. We're talking, you want to make a lot of money, not you want to make fucking $10 an hour here. So Daryl said, fuck yeah, I do. It's clear that this guy has a bunch of money. Mm-hmm. So how can I make a bunch of money? So he said Lloyd laid it out for him. Lloyd said, listen, what I'll do for you, Daryl, I'm going to set up a crank lab for you. Set up a meth lab, okay? Yeah. Which is, what if I came to you and I was like, Jimmy, you want to make some money? You'd be like, yeah, what do we do?
I always like making money.
Yeah, we got how are we going to do live shows? Sure, I'll do money, extra Patreon, what are we doing? And I was like, all right, you got a shed? Sure, yeah, I keep my lawnmower in or something. All right, clear all that shit out.
That shit out of there.
We're going to make meth, okay? That's step one. I think you'd stop me there, probably.
As soon as you told me the product, I'd be out, I think.
No.
Pretty sure I'm out.
No. But he said that he'd set up a crank lab in the shed behind his house down there, and the two of them, because they could be in this area, Daryl could be kind of his local man. The two of them could, take care of it and work it out, and they'd cook it up and do all of that. Yeah. So for the first little while, Lloyd said that he'll take care of the actual cooking because Daryl doesn't know how to do it yet. But as Daryl proved himself as a worthy partner, that he would teach him the tricks of the trade along the way.
And the Bobby Flay of meth.
But basically, you're going to be my sous chef.
Yeah.
That's what he is. He's going to cook it up. You're going to be my sous chef. And then eventually we'll open up a satellite restaurant in Times Square and you can run that. And it'll be called whatever your name is, but I'll also own it.
Right.
That's what he says to Daryl. He says, you work up this thing, you work up into business enough where I trust you enough, and we will be and then eventually you can break off and be in your business for yourself and sell your own meth, and you'll know how to do it, and you'll have the whole know-how of the operation. So Daryl thought about it for about 8 seconds and said, fuck yes, and high-fived him enthusiastically. It's like, you bet your ass I'll do that.
Got yourself a partner, sir.
Oh, fuck yeah. Because he's been broke. He's doing odd jobs. He's doing construction here and there. He doesn't work for a firm. He's just doing kind of piecemeal handyman freelance construction. So it's a tough living around there it's not a big population. It's not a lot of stuff for him to do money wise. So
I'm sure.
Not a lot of jobs. And, so plus he's a little fucked in the head. He's got a meth problem. He's not the most employable guy out there. So he said, sure, he's been broke. He's behind in his child support.
Oh, no.
By a lot. By, I don't know, probably 5 years or so.
Several thousand.
To Joyce, his first wife. And she recently moved back of the area and kind of, basically, told him that she's not going to see the kids and is threatening to get the cops on him if he doesn't pay child support. Basically, you're not going to see the kids and I'm going to call the cops on you if you don't start paying my fucking child support. Yeah. So he's like, I got to start making money. Because then also he's got this nice young girl that he's talking to.
Right.
Nice young lady, Mary, this woman that he's trying to, woo. And, he doesn't want to be a broke schlub trying to woo this attractive young woman. He wants to try to impress her. So he said, you know what? I'm going to, I'll do this shit. Let's do it. Let's make some fucking meth, goddammit. Why not? Shit. So, and by the way, too, Daryl is using a ton of meth during this time as well.
Of course.
He's always using meth. That's how they, got into it with each other. And apparently, Lawrence apparently is like a master. Lloyd is a master meth maker. Mm-hmm. He's really good at it here. So, by 1987, like I said, by late 1987, Daryl still hasn't been taught how to do it. And I guess they've been doing it for months, and Daryl feels like he's proved himself trustworthy enough to at least teach him how to cook this shit up.
Give me the secret herbs and spices.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Let's go.
Yeah, I've worked here for this goddamn long. You're not going to tell me what's in the secret sauce? Special sauce? No, fuck that.
What happens when you go on vacation? We're going to make a batch of it and it'll go bad?
It's going to go bad in the fridge. It's mayonnaise based, dude. It's not... If you mix that other shit with mayonnaise, it's going to curdle soon. So
you need to give me the secret recipe.
Yeah, let's do this. So he said, they argued about it a little bit. At first, he was like, nah, I'll teach you soon. Don't worry about it. And he kind of blew him off for a little bit. But after a while, Daryl starts pushing him and breaking his balls about it.
Yeah.
When are you going to teach me? When are you going to teach me? It's like in Goodfellas when Maury kept asking Jimmy for the money. Where's the money? Where's my money? He got money for this. Where's my money? Where's my money? Hey, I mastermind the goddamn thing. He pays everybody else. They're wearing it. I don't have my fucking money. It's that situation where Lloyd starts to get a little sick of hearing it from Daryl, and he's like, I don't like this right now. So what he does is Jesus Christ, Lloyd Lawrence gives Daryl some pink colored crank, which is not normal, I guess, in the normal batches that he produces. It's not pink colored. So this is a pink colored crank.
There's a yellow tint or a white tint. It's rarely pink.
Yeah, not really pink. So Daryl, despite it being not looking great, he does it, of course, anyway. He does it, and he becomes extremely ill.
Oh, no.
After smoking this meth. Or doing it or shooting it or whatever the fuck he's doing at this point. He becomes extremely ill after he does it. So he's a little worried. He thinks that Lloyd's trying to poison him with this meth. So he says that if he's trying to poison me with the meth, when he finds out the meth didn't hurt me, he's going to try another thing to hurt me, obviously, or maybe he's just trying to warn me, but I don't know. Maybe I should get away from this guy. So he said that he told his girlfriend, Mary, that things were getting pretty dangerous and that they needed to leave the area.
Yeah.
So in December of 1987, they take off. Before taking off, though, I guess if you're going to take off on a business thing like this, you go all or nothing. He steals 4 pounds of meth
not smart
from Lloyd and 4 bottles of this chemical that's used in the manufacturing process. That's apparently the stuff he uses is very, very expensive and hard to get a hold of it. 4 bottles of it and 4 pounds of meth.
That's a lot.
At that point, they estimated all this is worth about $150,000.
Yeah.
Something that would get you very much in trouble with a drug dealer who doesn't take any shit, basically. Right. So he takes all of this shit and puts it all in a backpack and hides it near Reed Spring, Missouri, like in the woods.
Oh, my.
Okay. Hides it all. Doesn't take it with him, but hides it. Because if you're going to hit the road, that's a lot you don't really want to hit the road with that, probably.
No.
Not good if you get pulled over somewhere.
That'll send you up the road for quite some time.
I would say so. So at this point, Lloyd finds out that he took off, that Daryl took off, and he finds out that he took off with all fucking 4 pounds of his meth and a bunch of his chemicals, and he is fucking pissed, as you might imagine. He puts the word out, I don't know, in the cockfighting circles of the world or whatever, $10,000 for information about Daryl's whereabouts. Not even to kill Daryl. He just $10,000 for a tip of where he is.
Tell me where he is, I'll handle the rest.
$10,000 in the hills back there. These people would turn their fucking mothers in for $10,000. $10,000 a year's salary in the 80s back there.
Just whisper it into a squirrel's ear and have him bark that all around the holler. You say 10,000?
That's a squirrel noise.
Yeah, it's their bark.
I don't know. So I don't know what squirrel. All I've ever heard him do is a squeak noise.
Yeah,
but that's a bark. I feel like what I'm doing. Hurts your throat to do that.
Have I heard him? I don't even know if I've heard him squeak. I think I've only heard people make noises at him.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever heard a squirrel's
chewing
noise.
on nuts.
Yeah, but
they squeak.
People make noises at
in
them.
In movies, they squeak, though, because that's to show you that it's moving or doing something.
That it's alive.
And then it runs. So, so from Missouri, they go up to Michigan for a while for some reason.
With no meth.
With no meth. They just go up to Michigan. From there, they travel all the way to Palmdale, California.
Jesus.
Mary and Daryl. Pawning shit along the way to support themselves. Basically, they pawn stuff to get gas money and food money in the next place to stay. This is rough. Hand-to-mouth living here.
Right.
After they get to California, I guess she has some relatives out there, so they spend a couple weeks with relatives, who I'm sure were thrilled to see this guy.
Yeah.
Oh, a meth-addicted hillbilly you brought twice your age you brought with you. This is great.
Palmdale, California is essentially the Ozarks of California.
Yeah.
It's a shithole.
And even they would look down on him, though. You're like, Jesus Christ. So after they get there, they do that. Then they end up in Lone Pine, California after that. So they're just kind of traveling around and, doing all that sort of shit here. Now, in February of 1988, Daryl receives $12,000 in cash. Okay. This is the proceeds of a loan that he obtained by mortgaging a house he owned in Palmdale. Okay. Apparently through some sort of something, because his grandfather was a very successful hillbilly.
Really?
He had a lot of businesses and he had a lot of stuff in a lot of different places. Okay. His paternal grandfather, Daryl's. So he had some weird stuff. And I think when his grandfather died, he inherited some things and property and shit like that. So he had that.
Mortgaged one of them.
So yeah, he put a mortgage on it, gets $12,000 in cash, which is a shitload of money in meth in 1988. And he had no identification. So they bought a car in his girlfriend Mary's name, and then they left California and went to Arizona. Okay. Of course, we're like a magnet for these fucking people. So there he purchases in Phoenix, by the way, of course.
Yeah.
He purchases a 12-gauge shotgun.
Yeah.
Obviously, or Mary purchases it because she has ID. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have any ID, so she purchases it for him. And By March, they're still in Arizona. They're in Cottonwood, which is northeast of Phoenix, up in the middle of nowhere, basically. It's the scenic route from like the New Mexico border to Phoenix. It's like
it's through Payson. It's nice.
It's
mountainy.
It's shitty.
It's scenic.
Yeah. Scenic if you like to look
trees,
at dirt. Hey, look, dirt. Hey, look, more dirt.
Trees.
Yeah, and then a few trees, but not even good trees. So they told her, they said that the, police contact them in Cottonwood, but only because Mary's mother has been looking for her. She's an adult, so obviously she's not like a missing person, but they're like kind of looking for her. So the police in Cottonwood contact her and tell her that her mother would like her to call home and talk to her. So she does, and at that point, Mary Epps's mother says to her, just for you, so you know, Lloyd Lawrence is looking for you guys all over this area, and he says he's definitely going to kill Daryl. So maybe stay away from here. So she tracked them down to tell them to stay the fuck away, because this dude is telling people he's asking for he's offering 10 grand just for info on them. So they're going to die. So between late March and early May of 1988, Daryl and Mary Epps began, they go all the way back to Missouri, but they stop all over the place it's a meandering little path here. They live in a camper along the way. They drive a camper and they make stops in late March. They he buys an H&K Model 91 .308 assault rifle.
Awesome.
In Alexandria, Louisiana. So down south of there. And then shortly after that, he said that he basically said to Mary, he's got this gun and he says that he, quote, needs to settle things with Lloyd or we'll be running all our lives.
Holy shit, with a .308? That's incredible.
So apparently he's ready to fucking have some kind of war with Lloyd here. This is settling.
I don't know.
This is shaping up to be a hillbilly showdown.
If I'm Lloyd, I don't know that I want it with this guy. A Vietnam vet with an H&K .308?
Before he went to Vietnam, he could shoot quarters out of the air. So I assume
he probably honed those skills a little better.
He's probably pretty good. Yeah, he's probably pretty decent. So what he does here he's got all of this now. In early May, him and Mary stay in Arkansas for a little while.
Yeah.
God, he's just hitting all the hot spots. Finally, they camp near Chadwick, Missouri on May 9th and 10th in 1988. Now, it's at this point, the next day, he's going to go in and get the meth that he's fucking stashed, because he still hasn't gotten it yet.
Right.
He's got all this meth. He's got a shitload of money sitting out in the woods somewhere.
Right.
This is quite the tale, right?
Rained on out there.
This is crazy, right? This is fucking nuts. He's like, all right, going in for a suicide mission. He goes to Reed Spring and gets the drugs from where he hid them. All right. I think probably back in one of those caves. Yeah. Nobody knows the backwoods and shit like this guy.
He's probably tucked in a tree stump somewhere.
Yeah, he's from here and he knows every nook and cranny and groundhog and every fucking spot in here. Yeah. So he brings it back to the campsite at Chadwick and buries it. Okay. Buries the backpack with all the shit in it for now.
Went and got it to bury it elsewhere.
To bury it where he is now. Okay. So it's not in the woods. So while they're staying at the campground, he tells Mary that if Larry was staying at the cabin that he owns in rural Taney County that weekend, this is the time to get him. He goes, if Lawrence is out there, Lloyd's there, we're going to go and we're going to have to kill him. And he tells her, and she's like, okay, why don't we just leave? We have all this meth. What are we talking about? And she's like, no.
You started this shit.
It's a showdown now. He's like, no, it's a showdown. It's a matter of manhood now. So, which is insane. So May 13th, 1988, Mary drives Daryl to a location on a county road, just inside the Taney County border. It's a short distance from where U.S. Highway 65 crosses over the Bear Creek. Okay. Just if everyone's sitting there with a fucking map out, if you got your atlases, that's what it is. So she is instructed by him to check back with him each of the next 2 days. Come back once a day, every day for the next 2 days, and look at the trees underneath the U.S. Highway 65 bridge that crosses Bear Creek. If there are orange-colored ribbons tied to these specific trees, look for those, okay? If she sees the ribbons, she is then to drive north on Highway 65 a short distance, and he will be there waiting for her.
Okay. I am 21. You're in your 40s. This is fucking wild. I'm out.
This is some weird Vietnam.
Yeah.
Like, are you having a flashback right now, motherfucker? I am not. There is no Viet Cong back there. We are not doing this shit.
I'm just barely not a child anymore.
Imagine that. Wild. You're going, what is your plan, bro?
Right.
Like, what are you talking about? Orange rib. What are we doing? So, yeah. So anyway.
So she goes,
she says,
sure.
Okay, I guess. I mean, she's followed him all over the country, and he said a bunch of crazy shit. She seems to be down for the program.
She's in it.
She's down girl. Good for her. Or good for him for finding her. She should run.
Yeah.
He's lucky to have her.
Yeah.
I would like to physically take her somewhere else and go get away from him, please.
Treat her like a Bigfoot and get her in the woods and just scream, go!
Nobody likes you. Nobody wants you here.
Get out of here.
So when she drops him off, he's wearing, of course, all camouflage.
Yeah.
And for the finishing touch, he's got camouflage on his face, face paint. He's got camouflage paint on his face.
Yeah.
All camo, carrying a backpack, armed with multiple knives, a .357 Smith & Wesson pistol.
Yeah.
And this is a guy, like I said, who can shoot quarters out of the air on a draw with a pistol, so that's frightening. He's got a .357. He's got a fucking hand cannon.
Go get him, SEAL Team 6.
Whoa. The 12 gauge that he bought and the .308.
Good Lord.
He's got it all and a bunch of knives.
2 fucking rifles.
I don't know how many people he plans on murdering in these woods, but I guess in case he comes across some game as well, he can put them down. So his ammunition includes both double-aught buckshot and slug ammunition for the shotgun.
Yeah.
He's got it, alternating.
Yeah.
So, Anyway, he on the first night, he goes to the house of someone named Rocky Redford. Mm-hmm. Rocky Redford. That's Robert's less successful little brother.
Yeah. Hillbilly Redford.
Everybody's like, oh, Robert Redford. Right. It's like at the 70s. He's on the red carpet.
Right.
Butch and Sundance just came out. He's like, I'd like to everybody to, guys, I thank you for your adulation, but please allow me to introduce you to my little brother, Rocky. He's like, hi, guys. And he's just kind of heavy set.
This barefoot lad right here is what I used to be.
Right, but lucky for me, I'm handsome.
This here's called breaking the cycle.
Yeah, he got all the bad genetics. I got all the good genetics. What are you going to do? It's like twins.
I still walk around without my shirt off in my 70s.
I'm going to take my little Danny DeVito inside with me, and it's fine. And I'll be shirtless till I die. So,
little jizz puddle.
Yeah. Now, he goes to Rocky Redford's house, not to stop by, say hi, have a cup of tea. He goes there to settle a score, is what he tells Mary. The guy wasn't home, though, so he just went out in Rocky's barn and spent the night, which is frightening. Lucky he wasn't home. So the next morning, Daryl goes to a hillside from which he could observe Lawrence's property. Mm-hmm. This is what he's doing. So now he is scoping him out, hunting him from a hillside. Now he's Rambo. Literally, this is Rambo now.
Stalking his prey.
Yeah, this is First Blood.
Right.
If you've seen, this is the plot of First Blood. Right. He's stalking from the hillsides. Like,
creepy.
Except he's killing this guy, or trying to. So he, from his vantage point, he saw a cream-colored pickup truck arrive and remain for some period of time. That's what he watched. So he assumed that the driver of the pickup was a lookout for Lloyd Lawrence, because he had lookouts for his meth.
Got it.
Because he had meth sheds. You can't just leave that shit in the woods. So at some point during the day, he sees Lloyd speak to the driver, and the truck leaves. He's just sitting there for hours just watching this guy's house. This is crazy. So later on, Daryl begins to approach the cabin. Okay, Lloyd Lawrence's cabin. At one point, he gets close enough to hear the radio inside and what's on it and shit. Like, he can hear it. He's stalking outside.
Yeah.
At one point, but as he's approaching, he startles a bunch of birds.
Oh.
And when he startles a bunch of birds, Lloyd's dogs their attention goes to the birds, and then Lloyd's attention goes to the dogs. So Daryl's like, fuck, shit, I gotta go. So what he does is he pulls back, withdraws to a point near a creek bed, a dry creek bed on the same property where he spends the night in a dry creek bed. I assume face painted. It's been days. He's still got trench. Yeah, he's literally just stalking in the woods like he's, in Vietnam here. This is nuts. Never going back to base.
Right.
So May 15th, early morning. Mm-hmm. It's been days. Early morning, Daryl constructs a fucking barrier out of cut tree branches. To block himself off, he makes like a camouflage thing and places them in a semicircle near a large tree. So there, he made basically like a pocket inside a large, tree. Yeah. He can stand and have a bunch of shit shielding him from the other side, and then the tree's blocking him from the back. So that's how he's doing it. Near a large tree. It's about 15 feet from a road that leads from the Lawrence's cabin to where the road goes into a small creek, okay? He hides here for several hours. He just sits behind the trees that he cut and just waits and stalks.
That is a patient man.
Patient. This is a guy who grew up in the woods hunting. He can sit in here all day and for days at a time. Patient. Finally, at about noon, he just waits this long, the Lawrences approach their position, where he is. They're riding four-wheelers. It is Willie passes him by first. They never see him. With his feet dangling from the thing. He passes by really fast, apparently. He zips by.
He's going.
He cruises.
He's now having a great time.
Since they did that, he's gotten used to it, so he whips all around these trails like crazy.
Unbelievable.
It's wild, right? So he drives by fast, and, Daryl sees him drive by through the trees that he's constructed for himself here, and he passes him, and the way he sees his feet dangling, and some distance behind, though, and driving a lot slower, were Lloyd and Frankie on the same vehicle. Okay. So two bigger, heavy-set, older people on the same vehicle are obviously driving slower through the trail. So they're driving slower through there. Lloyd drives up on his four-wheeler with his wife there. As he draws even with where Daryl is, Daryl pops up here and shoots Lloyd.
Oh, boy.
And then shoots Frankie.
What the fuck, man?
Then shoots Lloyd again using the shotgun this time, and which it's loaded alternately, like we said. Their vehicle comes to a slow stop at the creek. At that point, he popped out of the woods. Now, at this point, Willie had heard gunshots and spun around.
Whipped that shit around
to see what was going on. As he does, he's approaching.
Oh, no!
Yeah, Daryl blasts him in the chest with a 12-gauge shotgun.
Fuck!
It's loaded with double-aught buckshot is what he hit him with there. Then knocked him off his thing. He's hanging off on the floor there. And that's how he was found, too, with his feet still tied to the fucking four-wheeler. So it dragged him for a minute. Then, if that's not good enough, they're all shot with shotguns in the chest here. He goes up to each of them and shoots them in the head at point blank range with the shotgun.
Jeez.
He fucking mafia execution style. The cop that found them said that all of their heads were like a fucking V, basically, with canoed their heads, basically, right in the forehead, shotgun shot, 12 gauge.
Shit.
Pretty fucking crazy. So, all of them. So it's at that point that Daryl takes Lloyd's watch and wallet and rings, robs him, of course, and $600 was removed from his wallet, and then he takes the wallet and hides it under a log. Whatever. So,
put it back in his pocket.
Yeah, the bodies were found by Retha Lawrence, who is Frankie and Lloyd's daughter.
God.
She comes upon this. She came around a bend on the road and saw the four-wheelers in a creek bed, and she was like, what the fuck's up with that?
Yeah.
And walked closer, and then she noticed that they were shot. And she said, I went numb. It was total shock. I backed up and went to the nearest neighbor. And that was that. She called the cops, and the police came in and found this situation. They were like, holy shit. So,
wow.
That's crazy. Now it gets crazier. Now's when the crazy starts, okay? That was nothing. I'm dead fucking serious, too. She, after checking for yellow ribbons for a couple days, I don't know how she just didn't leave, but she is down, man. Yeah. This lady is down.
She kept coming back day after day.
She kept coming back, and finally, she saw the yellow ribbons, and there he was up the road.
Oh, boy.
So she picked him up. They flee back to Illinois again. Or they went to Michigan the first time, but this time they go to Illinois first. Then they go to Colorado, then to Nevada, and then guess where else they end up?
Arizona.
Back in Phoenix again. I don't know why. This is ground zero. This is where they pawn their guns in Phoenix, of course.
They were bought here. May as well return them.
Bring them right on back. So they stayed there in Phoenix for the remainder of 1988.
Really?
Just hanging out in Phoenix. Yep.
Where do you stay? Do they have family?
Anywhere. This place is full of white trash. You can blend in anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know. The West Side. Just Mesa. Enjoy. Yeah. Who cares? That's all.
Well, it's Phoenix. They were actually in Phoenix proper.
They were in Phoenix. Yes. Jesus. So by that time, they were beginning to run out of money. So he, was trying to find money and shit like that. Finally, January of 1989, it's 2:00 in the morning, and they're in a desert area outside of Phoenix, which who knows what that is now, but then,
it's downtown Tempe.
Yeah. So, northeast though, not so.
Oh, okay.
So a Maricopa County Sheriff's deputy pulls up on them, and they thought it was like people making out or something, but they were sleeping in the back of the car at 2 a.m. because they had nowhere else to stay. So they run a check on both of them, and they find out that Meese has warrants out of Missouri for concealing carrying a concealed weapon like 2 years ago, and then another one out of Stone County for a felony charge of non-payment of child support.
Oh, she went and turned him in.
So they yank his ass out of the car and arrest him at that point. So they pull him in. They end up being returned to Missouri, obviously, because police come from Missouri to talk to them because they were looking for them to question him about the Lloyd murder, because that's rumors got around. Because they said, well, who would hurt him? And everyone was like, well, he's looking for this guy forever. He's offering $10,000. Fucking maybe that guy got pissed off. So they're looking for Daryl. So obviously they tell Missouri, we have your guy with warrants, and then the police from Missouri come out. They extradite him and all that sort of shit. Mary is initially charged with hindering prosecution there. That will be dropped in exchange for her testimony later on as well.
Oh, Mary.
Yeah, she's got to save herself here. So now Daryl, Missouri Highway Patrol investigators are the ones who go to Phoenix to question him about the homicides. They read him his rights, and he says that he doesn't want to talk. He wants to talk to an attorney, which is the only smart thing he's done in this entire story. So the officers say, all right, fine. They stop the conversation. They interview Mary, who gives them permission to search the vehicle they've been driving. And he ends up waiving the extradition on the weapons charge, is flown back to Missouri. And then he's seen writing. He ends up basically the way he sees the cops writing, he figures out in his own head that Mary gave him up. Basically, he's like, they're writing way too much for a fucking weapons charge that they're bringing. He's like, yeah, as much as they're writing and the vibe of the whole thing, he's like, I bet she gave me up, which is also the fact that he's a meth head and he's paranoid about everything. So whether he saw writing or not, the guy could have been he could have wrote 2 lines about his wife or something, and he would have been like, they're writing about me. They're all talking about me. The pilots are talking about me. They know.
Could have been writing his laundry list.
He's on meth, so he's not reasonable, really. So, anyway, after they get back to Missouri, he's transported back to the jail, back to the sticks out there. During the ride, one of the patrolmen asks Daryl if he had, do you have an attorney? And he said, quote, no, but I guess I'll have to. And then he asks if the cop asks if Daryl had made a statement, and he says, no, I'm going to sleep on it, and then I might. So anyway, he's taken to a judge. He's arraigned on the murder, the armed criminal action, the weapons charges, read his rights, told he's got, counsel, all that bullshit, transported to jail and everything. While he's being transported at a stoplight, just before reaching patrol headquarters, he just pops out and he says, quote, the only thing I hate about this is Willie. That's just what he says from the back seat.
What?
So he says, the only thing I hate about this is Willie. There's no words have been spoken for a while. So the police officer says, why Willie? And he said, quote, Willie would have recognized me and I had to do him too.
Oh, no.
That's what he says from the back seat.
It.
Yeah, he goes, Willie would have recognized me. I had to do him too.
Yeah.
So
what happens when you fucking beat up or hurt or maim or murder anybody with a fucking disability?
That's pretty fucked up.
That'll be on your conscience for a minute.
I would say
even if you're a piece of shit.
Even if you're a piece of shit, it's like, damn, I wasn't even mad at him.
I shouldn't have done that.
And I wasn't even mad at him.
Yeah.
So at that point, the sergeant asks if you want to make a statement about it. And he says, yeah, fuck it, why not? I'll make a statement, sure. What the hell? Throw one together here. So he does say that he only wants the sergeant, the guys who picked him up in Arizona. He'll only talk to them. He doesn't want to talk to any other county officials. Okay. He said, I'll give a full statement, but only to those guys. So they're like, fuck it. Yeah. We don't give a shit. Go for it. So he's taken into a room where they are. One of the cops from the local guys asked to leave, and he does. When the other two police officers that escorted him get into the room, he's informed of his Miranda rights. He waived his rights. He's interviewed about the homicides. After about an hour, they set up a videotape and everything like that. In the interview, they tell him his rights and all that sort of shit, and he gives a verbal and written statement about killing the Lawrences. It's a 28-minute videotape confession.
28 minutes.
28 minutes he gave all the details. I mean, they asked him all the details. Yeesh. He gave the details about the killings, exactly what he did when and how he shot them and everything like that. He said that he believed it was necessary to kill Lloyd Lawrence to protect himself and his girlfriend, Mary. He said that he was frustrated because Lloyd had not followed through on promises to, quote, show me how to put thousands of dollars in my pocket by making meth. That was the quote he gave to the police.
Wow.
He told me he was going to help me make meth, and he didn't. So fucking, right?
What would you do?
You would have killed him too. Right, detective? Right, deputy?
We were making meth. You know what that is?
Mad at that. So The cops are like, is he fucking telling us? This is crazy.
He
just roll the tape. Just keep it rolling.
Thousands of dollars.
There's battery in that, right? And tape and everything. All right, good. So, but in late December 87, he said he became frustrated. He told them about the 4 pounds of meth and the chemicals that he took and all that sort of shit. And they're like, well, that's going to piss him off. Yeah. So, he said that Mary tried to talk him out of coming back to do this at all, to kill Lawrence. He said that, quote, she did not have full knowledge of my plans at all. He said that I let her believe I was going to burn Lawrence's cabin, not shoot him or do anything like that. I was just going to get back at him and burn it down when he wasn't there. Right. Ha ha, look at you. Now you got no cabin. He said that he spent the night in the area. The next morning he watched the cabin. He told him all of that we talked about before. He said when he saw Lloyd arrive at the cabin, driving as fast as he could drive on that dirt road, that's when he said it was time to go down there. The guy asked him, why did you have so many weapons? Yeah. It's not overkill. You know,
that's a lot.
That's a lot. And
the 308's too much.
That's what I mean. He says, quote, I knew that if Lloyd was over there, he'd have somebody waiting for me. So he said that he wanted to make sure that he had enough to take care of whoever the fuck was around, basically. He did not, and he also said he didn't know if the Lawrences had any dogs with them that were going to attack him or some shit like that. So he wanted to have the pistol in case he needed
it. For the king.
Who knows? That's what I mean. Yeah. Best not miss. So it's the way it is. He described building up the blind of trees around him. Yeah. He said he waited for 7 or 8 hours in there before anybody showed up. And he said they finally appeared. He said, quote, the kid came through pretty fast, talking about Willie flying by him. He said, you mean you knew it was Willie? The cop asked him, and he said yes. And then he said he saw
his shoes tied to the fucking...
Who the fuck else drives around like that? Nobody. Yeah, nobody says, hey, tie my fucking feet to the rack. That's comfortable. So it turns into a chopper at that point, which is pretty fucking funny. He was like, hey, look at me.
Yeah, just put some ape hangers on it.
That's all. Yeah, man. It's fucking pretty cool. So, he said he saw them approaching, driving slowly, and he said that Lawrence was looking from side to side, so he decided to shoot Lloyd. He said, quote, I was determined nothing was going to stop me. Once I got started, I knew it was all the way or nothing. I thought if I didn't get Lloyd, he'd get Mary or do something bad to her. In fact, I'm sure of it. Which probably, if, you tried to murder him.
Well, if you don't get Lloyd, that means you got somebody there.
Somebody, yeah. He said that he shot, the man and then the woman next, or he shot, Lloyd and then Frankie. And then he said once Willie returned, he had to shoot him. He said that he shot all 3 of them again in the head, and then he turned off the all-terrain vehicles, the keys, turned them off, and took the watch and the wallet and all that shit, $600, and he collected these shotgun shells, the spent shells that were around.
Off the ground.
Picked them up. Yeah, I didn't want to leave those behind. And he asked whether he was, they on the videotape, were you coerced into making this statement or anything like that? And he said, quote, I'm doing this for Mary's sake because she didn't want any part of it. I dragged her into it. She's the finest person I know. I'll do anything to get her out of it. Then they asked him if he felt any remorse for the killings, and he said, not for Lloyd. I knew what I had to do there. I do for Willie, and I do for Frankie. Okay. He's like, but Lloyd can go fuck himself. Yeah. Don't care.
He got what he deserved.
He got what he deserves. So he's charged with first-degree murder, obviously. Right. It's not a real big shock there. He needs a lawyer. They can't find one in the area to represent him. They're having a hard time finding him a lawyer.
Nobody wants any part of this.
A hearing is postponed twice because he cannot find counsel, basically. The public defender's office can't, they said they can't afford a representative for him in a murder trial like this in this area, and he can't find a private counsel. So there's just no lawyer for this guy. So he sits around waiting for a lawyer for a while. And you know what he says about it?
What
do you think?
Who gives a shit? I'll do it myself.
He says, I don't mind that I haven't found a lawyer. You want to know why? I don't give a shit. You want to know why?
Because I'm praying.
Because I found religion.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care.
Right.
He walked in to get interviewed at one point wearing a jumpsuit and all that, carrying a bunch of books and Christian shit and religious things and all religious. And
I'm a carpenter. My girl's name is Mary. I'm Jesus.
I'm Jesus.
Yeah.
That's right.
Is that what he says?
Who says him? No. It's worse, honestly.
Oh, no.
What he says is worse. It's actually crazier.
Okay.
If that's possible.
I'm Jesus.
Here it comes, Jimmy. He says that he's found God and he isn't worried about defending himself. I could defend myself against these murder charges. Why? Quote, God is my lawyer. He's the best lawyer in the world.
He's his lawyer.
God is my lawyer, Jimmy. He's the best lawyer in the world. Not even in the universe. Only on Earth, though. The rest of the he's lacking. You get him in another galaxy.
I need another guy on Mars.
There's better lawyers there. But here, he's the best. He's just the best.
Does he sit with an empty chair next to him?
I feel like he does.
And then just look over to it constantly?
He comes in with a tie on. Yeah. Anything to say for yourself? So that's what he's saying now. He's charged with first-degree murder and armed criminal action, and he's saying, God's got this. There's more.
He's going to ask a chair questions like Clint Eastwood.
Well, yeah, there's more. He says that it's his recent reacceptance of Christianity.
Yeah.
He says that, he refused to speak directly about the charges against him. He only says that he feels comforted by God's love. He says, quote, whatever he wants, it will be. God can do anything.
My God.
Keep this in mind, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm just, it sounds crazy, and I'm not a religious guy. You know that. I don't believe in this. But just keep it in mind.
Back burner
this, because this gets crazier. Trust me. Okay. So whatever he wants, it'll be, blah, blah, blah. So he says that he doesn't consider Lloyd a former friend of his because he said he was just mean to him. Lloyd Lawrence, he said, quote, Lloyd didn't have any friends when he was asked about that. They asked him about the shotgun that the police recovered, and he said, quote, this was all part of God's plan. I'm not stupid.
Right.
He said, quote, women problems 20 years ago made him very stressed. He said, quote, it about drove me crazy. And he said, pointing to his head, about drove me crazy. That, you know that? Yeah. And they said in the article, pointing to his head. And he said that he doesn't blame Vietnam for his problems. He blames lady troubles.
Really?
Okay.
Really?
The Viet Cong couldn't get me, but you, young lady, have driven me over the edge now. So, he said he said his problems began the day he turned against God. That was the problem. He said, quote, I was saved years ago, and then I turned my back on him. He said then he got involved in drugs and all this sort of shit. But he said since he's been in jail 2.5 weeks before this interview, quote, I got saved and it's over now. He goes, it's all good. He said, quote, people who talk to me act like it's doomsday. He said, but I'm in better shape than I've ever been in my entire life. He said, referring to his renewed relationship with God. He said that a man whom he'd never met before visited him in jail about 2 weeks after he arrived from Arizona. He said that this acquaintance, who he won't identify, but he considers a friend, gave him a Christian book, Power Through Praise.
Oh.
And he said at that point, he fasted and prayed and found God. Yeah, he said, it opened my eyes and opened my ears. He was ready. He displayed several books that he had. How to Turn Your Faith Loose. He needs no help in turning anything loose.
No.
He turns it loose just fine. Casting Your Cares Upon the Lord. And he said, quote, I turned to God in desperation in trying to help my best friend. I wanted him, God, he means, to take care of her. I ended up saving myself.
Wow.
Yeah, he wouldn't name this friend that he, like I said, but
he seems to be a hero, sir.
Yeah. So
who is this hero?
Don't know. He said that he's not worried about getting a lawyer. He said, quote, I'm not putting my faith in man. Jesus Christ. He wouldn't elaborate, but he says that he has disappointed God in the past. He says, quote, I was in sin and it blocked my eyes. He said, it's brought me back to God now, this purpose. And that's all these things happened for a reason, and it was to bring him back to God. And he said he's not concerned about the charges because, quote, I got God with me. These are the answers to his questions.
A paraplegic and Frankie had to die for him to find God.
That's how it works, man. Yeah, he says, so the prosecutor here, he says that after they asked him, by the way, the defendant here, the guy, he says he's trusting God to be his attorney. And the prosecutor said, quote, I hope that we can get him an attorney assigned to him very quickly, is what he said. Like, that's not going to cut it. I can't enter that in the...
I can't argue with that guy.
How do I argue with God? He said, the state will make sure one is there. I have every confidence that an attorney will be appointed. He will be fully and adequately represented, not by God. So he's trying to get his confession tossed. That's his legal strategy, to try to get the confession tossed. They said that, they asked him during this, did his concern for his girlfriend have anything to do with his confession? And he said it was everything that had to do with the confession. He said that they promised him that Mary would go free with a slap on the wrist if he just confessed and all that sort of thing, which is true. But she's got to testify too. And he said that he was worried that Mary would have a nervous breakdown or commit suicide over this. So he figured he'd just confess to get her off the hook. So they said during questioning that no deals or promises were made and that his confession was voluntary. He started it from the back seat without even any provocation whatsoever. The cop said, quote, we just took the information from him. He just talked and we wrote the shit down. I don't know. So the trial comes. April of 1990 is the trial here. And Mary has to testify against him, and she does. She testifies. She tells him that, he told her that he killed the Lawrences. And it's not a big, long case. Prosecution-wise, they have his confession. Right. It's 28 minutes long of him detailing what he did, and then they have the girlfriend who corroborates that by saying, this is what he told me as well. I picked him up here, I dropped him off here, which fits in the timeline of all the stuff.
And we have 3 bodies.
3 bodies. We have guns that we got. They found the shotgun.
Shit.
Oh, yeah, they got him out of the pawn shops. He's fucked. I mean, he's got a full confession. They're going for the death penalty here, by the way, too. This is a death penalty case, absolutely, because it's for money and all that sort of shit.
Meth.
And pure meth. Right. And he killed a fucking teenage paraplegic over somebody else's meth. That's fucked.
That's really fucked up.
That's how you get called on this shit. Yeah. So his defense attorney said that he will not call any witnesses in this phase of the trial. Basically, they're not even contesting the guilt phase of the trial. They're going to
deal with it on the appeal.
We're fucked, basically. We have to just try to hope that they don't kill him. That's it. We can't even try to say he didn't do it. So he didn't call any witnesses in the first phase, and they were saying that they could, the jury could deliberate super early on this one. Mary said that, quote, talking about Meese, he said the only way to stop Lloyd was if he was dead. He said that once they were in California, he said, why are we doing this? We're in California. We were so far away from the Ozarks. No one's going to get us here. And that he said that, quote, he said we had to go back and take care of this. And she said she didn't think didn't believe him. She said, quote, I didn't think he was serious. I just thought he wanted to go back to the area just to satisfy an ego for being seen. Like, I'm back here. You're not driving me away. I'm not afraid of you.
Right.
Yeah. So before the verdict comes in, they talk to his lawyer, and he's mad because the jury was not instructed to consider downgrading the charge from first to second degree murder. There was no instruction on that. And he considers that his best point of appeal. So, whatever. He says, our strategy is to concentrate on the second stage. I think we have a good jury. They're not enthusiastic about the death penalty. They're not going to try to play God. So, well, I mean, if the lawyer's going to be God.
Well, he's going to be in the courtroom.
He's right there anyway. You might as well ask him. So he also says that he doesn't anticipate calling Daryl in the first phase of the trial as it ends. But if he's convicted, then he's probably going to have to testify in the penalty phase to save this, don't kill this guy. So, yeah, the verdict comes in. The jury deliberates for 45 minutes. That is barely long enough to fill out the form.
That is fast.
That is so. They just went in. We're all okay. Yeah, and they just filled it out. They didn't even do a fucking vote. They're just like, yeah, right.
Introduced themselves to each other, shook some hands.
I mean,
it'd be nice to see you after.
Yeah,
this.
well, we'll have lunch later. Let's just get this over with quick, so there's time for lunch when we're done. So after 45 minutes, they come in with a. Now, by the way, the only charge here is Willie.
Really?
He's only charged with killing Willie. Those other charges are still sitting on the side.
Because he admitted to killing Willie.
Well, he admitted to killing all three, but Willie is the sympathetic one.
Okay.
If you bring Lloyd into this, then you have to talk about
his
Lloyd's character.
Yeah.
You have to talk about how Lloyd. You could bring in a parade of people saying Lloyd is violent, Lloyd beat me up, Lloyd threatened me, Lloyd threatened to kill me, and then it's
Lloyd's putting 10 grand out on the street for knowledge of where I am.
Yeah, now it's not looking quite the same anymore. Mm-hmm. So now it's looking like, ooh, boy.
A man with his shoes tied to the front of a quad so he could drive it.
They'd go, he shot the kid. That wasn't good, but he kind of should have shot that one guy. Yeah. So they didn't want to do that. So Willie's a sympathetic kid with nothing not a word to say. So he ends up, that's what they convict him of. 1 count of first-degree murder, which is enough to go to sentencing. And the prosecutor says, quote, I believe after they view the evidence, they will accept that there are enough aggravating circumstances and that the death penalty should be assessed in this case. Whatever they decide will suit me. Oh, I'm sorry. This is Willie's father and Lloyd's son, Buck Lawrence. He says, quote, whatever they decide will suit me. It doesn't make any difference to me. Mm-hmm. He's more like I am. Like, what's the fucking difference? Right. Kid's dead. He's in jail. Who cares?
Whatever the penalty is, I'm fine with it.
Fine. So they asked about receiving the death sentence to Misa's lawyer. Daryl's lawyer said that statistics show 70% of the people on juries believe in the death sentence, but less than half will vote for the death penalty in a particular case because they generally find enough mitigating facts to justify the lesser penalty. Generally, decent people don't want to kill anybody.
Yeah.
You have to really piss them off.
But you kill a paraplegic, 100% of people think that's death penalty, right?
Well, yeah, to show aggravating circumstances, they show a 5-minute silent videotape of the crime scene that showed the bloody bodies all mangled with the kid hanging off a fucking four-wheeler and everything. The prosecutor says the video shows better than anything this wanton disregard for human life. And the defense argued that the video should not have been shown to the jurors and all that. The defense lawyer said the video is the most horrible thing I've ever seen. He said in 30 years of working as a lawyer, he's worked in some 100 murder defenses. He said, but this is unconscionable.
Sit tight, man. YouTube's about to come out.
Right? No shit. So he calls for mitigation 31 witnesses. Daryl does. Friends, relatives.
For mitigating.
To say he's a great guy. They all called him a law-abiding citizen. They said right up until the time he shot that kid, he was a law-abiding citizen. He was also selling meth and everything else.
And not paying child support.
Yeah.
And fighting at cockfights.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of bad shit here. They said the only thing even witnesses, his friends said they didn't even know he used drugs. Really? Like, what are you talking about? Character witnesses smiled at him, waved at him, acted like he was a good guy. Mm-hmm. The defense attorney asked the witnesses if they knew that Lawrence Lloyd had threatened his life. Several said that they'd heard rumors that Lloyd had offered $10,000 to find him and kill him. Okay. So among the witnesses were his mother, his sons that were 19 and 14 at the time, Shane and Wesley. And the defense lawyer asked Shane, who was 19, "Are you here trying to save your daddy's life?" And he said yes, which, duh. The doctor's report, psychologist's report, said that Daryl has the type of personality that was more susceptible to influence by authority figures. Okay. They're asking them to consider the doctor's report along with his testimony to remove the confession and statements as evidence in the case. That's their thing while it goes. The defense attorney says, quote, "He will die an old man in a penitentiary. You're giving Daryl the death penalty will not bring Willie back. You take Daryl's life and you do the same thing to his family that Daryl did to Willie's. That's not justice." He said that this is out of character for Daryl. This is ridiculous. Quote, If it had not been for Nam, drugs, and Lawrence Lloyd's drugs, Willie would be alive today, is what he said.
He's putting Willie's murder on fucking Lawrence?
As he said, he was a Marine in Vietnam, and that's what it is. So Daryl testifies too.
Yeah.
He gets up there and he doesn't really say shit. He exercises his Fifth Amendment right not to incriminate himself, and he will not discuss any information about the murders at all or anything like that. He just admitted the confession was true, but he said he didn't give it voluntarily. He'd been promised leniency from his girlfriend. That's all he would say. That's it. So this comes in, and the verdict comes in. Yeah. You, sir, may fuck off. Death penalty for Daryl.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I heard nothing in there that would sway me as a juror.
That's what I mean. So we don't even like the death penalty. Right. We're not Ozark, Missourians who tend to like it.
Paraplegics on a quad having the best day of their life.
Never once.
That's
Never
awesome.
done it. It sounded like he was having a blast, hanging out with his grandpa, fucking cruising around the woods.
There was a huge smile as he tore by.
He's fast. The defense attorney said that, quote, "This is very depressing. I suspect that the jury was so death prone that they had strong leanings toward that before they even heard the evidence." Mm-hmm. The jurors were escorted out of the jury room here, and the judge said that he told the defense he had 25 days to file after trial motions and all that good shit. And he says to the jurors, quote, "I told them it's over and they're free to talk to their spouses, ministers, or bartenders about it, but they don't have to." He tried to get a little humor in there. I appreciate a judge that's got a little line, So it's not a great joke, but he's a judge. What the fuck do you want?
It's a pretty good joke.
Yeah. It's not what he does for a living. It's
about
fine.
The fucking video you just had to watch.
Yeah, your spouses, ministers, or bartenders. That's pretty good. So he says, who's the defense attorney? I don't know if it's George. Got off the stool for a minute. So Norm's defending him. He says that this is the first time in his experience of defending 100 people charged with murder that a jury has recommended the death sentence for one of his clients. He also says this is the first time the Taney County prosecutor, Jim Justice, his name is Jim Justice.
Pretty awesome.
Jim Justice is his name.
Lead prosecutor.
Justus, Justice.
It's awesome.
That's pretty cool. Has been able to convince a jury to recommend the death sentence. So it's the first time he's had it and the first time he got it. So, hey, this guy must be a special kind of asshole. He said, in my 14 years as a prosecutor...
You're both one for one.
Yeah. Well, he said, in my 14 years as prosecutor, this is the second time I've asked a jury to recommend the death sentence, and this is the first time he got it. Mm-hmm. He said, this man deserves to be put to death, and his mother, Daryl's mother, says that she thinks it's unfair for her to have the murder cases separated. Oh. She said that if Lloyd Lawrence if his bullshit was in there, it would have been different.
It wouldn't be a death penalty.
He said, "I'm disappointed, but I'm not defeated. I'm still standing on that solid rock of Jesus." That's what she said. They have planned to appeal the case, and we'll go very briefly here. The appeals are basically, he's trying to say that they were arresting him for murder, but instead of arresting him for murder, they were arresting him on the lower charges just to question him for murder, which is not actually technically allowed. But it's really hard to prove that that's what it is. It's like, well, I'm arresting you and I'm going to question you, not I arrested you to question you.
I'm arresting you on the warrants that are out for your fucking arrest.
And that's what they said. Yeah. They said the Arizona cop who arrested you did not know that you were wanted for questioning. Right. He only knew that a fucking warrant came up on the computer.
Right.
And you needed to go. That was it. Right. Whether the Missouri cops were doing it or not is another story, because they might have done that on purpose. They might have looked through the records and went, oh, he owes child support. That's a way we can get him.
I'd like to know where in Northeast Phoenix he was arrested for sleeping in a car, because
I would too.
That's where Scottsdale is, and that's where you do not sleep in a fucking car.
Fuck no. Yeah, you're going to get...
Especially if you're running from something.
Absolutely. So they say, fuck you with the appeals.
Yeah.
So in November of 1998, an execution date is set finally after all the appeals are done.
Yeah.
An execution date is set for January 27th, 1999.
Fast.
Coming up fast. But, big fucking but. This would have been the second day of the Pope's visit to St. Louis.
Oh, they don't want to do that.
Pope John Paul was in town there.
This guy loves Jesus.
And they were like, fuck, we can't execute somebody while the Pope is here. He's really anti-death penalty, the Pope. Church is super anti-death penalty. So they were like, fuck, like he'll just talk shit. We'll look stupid. This is bad. So they abruptly the next day, without calling a hearing or anything, the court just arbitrarily changes it to February 10th. We'll execute him another day when the Pope's not there. We fucked up.
As soon as he gets the fuck out of town.
Yeah. So obviously this is interpreted by everybody as they don't want to execute him when the Pope's here. So what ends up happening is while the Pope is in town, the governor, Mel Carnahan, is also a deacon at a Baptist church.
Oh, no.
So he's super religious. So he visits the Pope and whatever, and the Pope looks him in the eye and says, "Thou shalt not kill."
He said it right to his face.
He said, looked him right in the eye and said, "Thou shalt not kill," and said that he urged this guy to quote, he said, quote, "Please have mercy on Mr. Meese. Thou shalt not kill."
Oh, how did he hear about it?
And he was
Did Jesus tell him?
Fuck. The governor was like, and then he just stood there like, "What you gonna do?" And the guy was like, A religious guy can't say no to the Pope.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. Yeah. It's like a mob guy saying no to to fucking Marlon Brando in The Godfather. You just can't do it.
You can't kiss a
He's
ring.
The guy.
And then when he tells you what to do, go, "No, sir."
Yeah. So he said that, he didn't know what to do. Jesus Christ. So he ends up, he ends up from that deciding on January 28th, 1999 to commute his sentence to life in prison.
You have to.
Based on what the Pope said.
You have to, right?
It kind of got really... He got punked into it.
Yeah.
The guy said, in front of people, too.
Right.
Like Al Gore was there. He was the vice president at the time.
Jesus.
Right in front of a bunch of people. He was like, "Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Please have mercy on this man. Thou shalt not kill." And he was like, Fuck.
PC with you.
Throwing that Bible shit at me now. Fuck.
And also with you, Pontiff.
The governor, the governor said it was a very moving time, a very moving moment for me. It was, by the way, what saved him.
Yeah, Jesus.
He was right.
Yeah.
Fucking
Jesus spoke to the Pope.
And he said, "No, God's got this. He's not going to execute." And literally, the Pope came from Italy to say, "Don't kill this hillbilly." Right. What are the odds? It's crazy. The governor said, "A very moving moment for me. It was one of those moments that would never expect to happen in one's life. I would never expect it to happen again in my life, and I felt that this response for me was appropriate."
He commuted it.
So listen. So he has let 26 other executions go through, except this one. And
did he call the Pope and be like, "What about this guy?
How about this guy? What do you think?
Have you heard anything?"
He has only commuted one other death sentence, and that was for a man whose jury was not told of his quote unquote mental retardation.
Oh, for
legally.
Pete's sake.
So they did not know he had an IQ of 62.
Right.
And so they commuted him. So basically, it's wild. The Pope loved it. The Pope praised the generous decision of the governor there. He said he was thrilled with that. One of his lawyers, Meese's lawyers, Laura Higgins Tyler, said that Darrell was, quote, awestruck. And she said, quote, "Darrell has remained very steadfast in his faith that he would receive relief from God. I'd say this sure looks like a miracle to me." Literally it's fucking crazy.
I would say that's the most relief from God you could ever get.
Yeah, it worked, right? He says that, the Pope said that I renew this appeal made most recently at Christmas for a consensus to end the death penalty, which is both cruel and unnecessary.
And that was John Paul II?
That was John Paul II, yeah. So even one of the defense attorneys there said, quote, "Quite frankly, this case was probably one of the weaker clemency cases." He's like, he's a lucky motherfucker.
There's no way they'd give him clemency.
No, he said, "In this case, there were no real claims of mental illness, no questions of guilt. It was a triple murder. Right. He had one argument dealing with post-traumatic stress from Vietnam, but it really had a snowball's chance in hell. I guess timing is everything, huh?" He just got lucky, man. So
Jesus heard about it.
So what does Darrell say? He believes the Pope was sent to Missouri by God at that specific time to save him. He said he dismisses all the talk that he's alive because of publicity and circumstance. He said it was God's will. Mm-hmm. What are you talking about? He says, just as it will be God's will someday that I will walk out of prison a free man. Let's hope not.
Stop calling your shot, babe.
That's what I mean. Chill the fuck out. One. Yeah, calm down. You hit one into the upper deck. Relax.
Put one over the wall. Run the bases and shut the fuck up.
They're gonna fucking hit you in the head with the thing next time. That's how that goes. You're getting fucking plunked next time. You're getting brushed back.
Yeah, you're going to take one on the chin. Calm down.
Yep. The mother said that,
What if he gets out and then he's like, it is God's will. I will be one day a millionaire.
I will be the president of the United States. Sure you will. Next thing you know,
the son of a bitch.
2028, and he's taking it all. The mother believes that she always believed he'd get out, and she also believes that he will also be let out of prison, not only with the death penalty. Now, the other side of this, people who aren't thrilled about it, the David Lawrence, who's the son of Lloyd and Frankie, said he was disappointed that nobody from the state told the family of the governor's decision.
What?
They didn't contact them before they fucking said it publicly.
Well, no, because they're fucking
They just made an announcement, and so he said he learned of it in a phone call from a friend who heard it on television in Chicago.
Oh, my God.
That's fucked up. That's like a sports guy hearing he got traded and reading it in the paper. That's ridiculous. You tell the people first. He said, quote, from the beginning, we said whatever the court decided, we'd be fine with it. And he said, again, whatever the decision was this time made was fine with us, but the fact that we were not contacted in any way was not good. They don't even care if they're not going to kill him. They're like, just tell us about it. Keep us updated. That's not a lot to ask. It's Jesus. I mean, fuck. Now, George Marion, who describes himself as one of Lloyd Lawrence's closest buddies, as he quotes it, he says that if he could get close enough to the Pope, I'd clock him straight and sure in the mouth.
He wants to punch the Pope.
He threatened to punch the Pope in the mouth. There's been several firsts on this show, and I don't think that anyone on any of our other shows has threatened to clock the Pope straight and sure in the mouth before, right? No, that's a new one.
It's an extra sting with straight and sure.
Straight and sure. Really give it to him. He's like 100 at that time.
Right.
So he's literally.
I will aim for that old fuck's face.
He's like 97. I'm gonna knock his ass out. I'm knocking that hat right off his fucking head.
Test his chin.
Yeah, check that chin, bitch. How you like that? Nice dress, motherfucker. Just check that chin, bitch. Pow! Collect your hat off the floor, motherfucker. That's right. And he walks away.
Cardinal, pick up your boy.
Cardinal, get your boy. Your boy's mouth right and checks his ass can't cash, motherfucker. That's right. Who wants some? Bring all the cardinals and bishops. I don't give a fuck.
Just knocking them down.
It's pow, poo. So, yeah.
He wants to take it out on the Pope. That's awesome.
I mean, what the hell?
Yeah.
David Lawrence, again, the son, said, quote, as far as I'm concerned, the governor and the Pope are showing more mercy toward a convicted killer than toward us. Yeah, that's right. So they said that, my God, this is just Terry Teague, who's a person who owns a Terry, that we talked about, who owns a sign shop in town.
Yeah.
They just got like the man on the street.
Terry T is another person with double-doubles.
Terry Teague. So this could be he or she, whatever, said, quote, it's just so amazing that someone would be in prison for murder from such a small place as Reed Spring, and then the Pope, from Rome, would be here, and all these events would come together.
He's got to qualify,
which is really, it really is.
It's like
amazing. This is insane.
Right.
If you wrote a movie and you said, and then the Pope comes, you'd be like, whoa. This is a backwoods. The fuck? When is the Pope? And we can't put the Pope in the screenplay. That screws the whole fucking thing up. No, the Pope.
Terry qualified it. The Pope.
Yeah.
From Rome,
Yeah, from Rome, that one.
That one.
Rather than the Pope that's over in Japan. The Japanese Pope doesn't get over here as much.
Not just some dude with the last name of Pope. The fucking Pope.
The actual Pope with the hat and everything. He comes out every once in a while. He comes, hey, this fucking guy, so
unbelievable.
Now, the governor's political adversaries are fucking pissed at him.
They're going to eat it up.
They said, quote, if we're going to listen to the Pope, we should listen to everything he says. Let's pass that partial birth abortion ban, is what he says. I'll give you one fucking guess where he was from.
Right.
Now, listen, I don't think we should ever listen to the Pope about anything, okay?
No.
Except to wear, to get to wear flowing outfits or some shit like that. But you know what they say, a broken clock is right twice a day?
Yeah.
Except about abortion. It's always wrong about abortion, a broken clock, if it's the Pope's.
Right.
So shut up about abortion, who cares? So anyway, God damn it, don't try to put that in there with this. This is different.
That's fucking wild.
So they said that he still may be tried on the 2 other murder charges that were originally dropped. They can obviously be raised again. And
do you think the Pope would win office if he ran?
I just thought about that.
In Italy?
Anywhere here.
I'm not here, no.
Anywhere at all?
Maybe Boston, but outside of that, nobody's that Catholic.
That's my point. It's just he doesn't hold office. We're not taking his opinion on any fucking political shit.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, he just guilted a guy. That was all it was. It was personal guilt. It has nothing to do with...
Separation!
Let's go, yeah. Jesus Christ. So in 2008... we catch back up with with fucking Daryl, who's just thrilled to be, not dead.
Right.
He's watching, when they talk to him, he's watching Pope Benedict at the time on TV, the new Pope, or second Pope after that. And he said, he talked about it, and he said that, he's facing life in prison. He says he has no chance of parole. He says, but before I thought he was kind of cold and distant, saying to the new Pope, he says, now he seems warmer. It's changed my opinion on him. He's like a Pope critic now. He's a world-renowned Pope critic. He says that he eased his view of Catholics also since his death sentence was commuted. He was never like Catholics before. Yeah. He grew up in Pentecostal church, and he said that he considered it strange that there was a boy in town who was Catholic, and he considered him strange because he was Catholic and nobody would talk to him. That's what the South is. That's what they're like, you're from up north. I don't know this. Don't know what fuck you're eating. Right. Goddamn Catholic. Don't trust that. Right. You're nothing what we want. Good, because I'm not...
Just fish? That's weird.
That's weird. So he said, quote, I'm not prejudiced like I used to be.
But?
I've had to he said, I've had to rethink that. I know they're real Christians. I'm kind of connected to the Pope now. I believe God used him to save me. I hope the new Pope speaks out against the death penalty also. And he says that, he's not going to praise the other Pope, though, too. He says, quote, some people say I'm ungrateful, and I know I sound like it, but I have to give it to God. I have to give the glory to God. The Pope was just the vessel. It couldn't have been a janitor because the person had to have a lot of influence. Right. Wow. He says also that he has no remorse still for killing the Lloyds. He said, quote, I'll tell you what. Yeah. That's literally what he said. Quote, I'll tell you what. He's just what he was. I ain't going to say anything more about it. About Lloyd. Yeah. That's what he said. I'll tell you what.
I'll tell you what. He's a piece of shit.
I ain't going to say nothing more about it, which means he's a piece of shit.
Right.
And you didn't hear that from me, but he is.
I won't say it because I am a pious man.
Yep. He also says that he sees no irony in the fact that he's been condemned to die, gotten 2 execution dates before him that got pushed back, and he is only one of 3 people that out of that triad that's still alive, because the Pope's dead.
Yep.
Carnahan died in a plane crash.
Wow.
But Meese is still alive.
Holy
Who would have fucking thought of that shit?
Wait a minute. Is that Mary?
Mary who?
Who's Carnahan?
Mel Carnahan.
Oh, yeah.
It was
the governor?
The governor.
He died in a plane crash.
Yeah, suspicious circumstances. It's funny. It's a lot of... I'm not going to get into it, but it's a couple, Wellstones, a few others. Anyway, so John Paul II died in 2005, and they asked him about that, and what has Daryl said? Quote, I'm younger than they are. So that is Reed Spring, Missouri.
Wow.
That is Daryl Meese and Lloyd Lawrence, and one of the fucking weirdest stories we've ever told, I think, there.
I've never heard anything like that before.
Right down to him predicting God will save him, and then the Pope by hand
literally did.
Like, I don't even know. That's never oh, by the way, that's the only time that a governor has ever listened to the Pope.
Yeah.
Because it's the only time where it was like right then and face to face, and it was right about to happen. It's not 6 months from now where you could forget about it. Yeah. So this is the only time it's worked for the Pope. So
unbelievable.
That's that, everybody. Holy shit, that's a crazy story. Yeah. If you agree and would like to tell the world about the craziness, please do so. Get on Apple Podcasts, that purple icon, and give us 5 stars. Tell us anything about it. Tell us what you think is cute about koala bears, because they're pretty fucking cute. Yeah. So tell us what you think about that. We don't care what you say. It's not for our egos. It's seriously just to drive up the charts, which helps us on the business end a whole lot and gets more people to see the show, be aware of it. And they see the name, they're like, Small Town Murder, that sounds interesting. But they have to know it exists. Yeah. And that helps a lot to help them know it exists. So do all of that. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com for everything crime and sports and small town murder. Honestly, crime and sports has been wild lately. Check that out. Do we steer you wrong? Yeah. When we tell you something's nuts, it's nuts. When we tell you it's funny, it's going to be funny. Trust us, listen to crime and sports. You do not have to like sports. Nope. It's better if you don't, almost, because if you have childhood heroes, we're going to destroy them and you'll hate us for that. So It's almost better if you don't like sports there. Listen to that every Tuesday. Also, P.S. I Hate This Movie every Friday, where we have Grease 2 this week, which, like I said, Grease 1 was an abomination, so why you would make 2, I have no fucking idea. And you don't even have Travolta or Olivia Newton-John.
Neither of them are in it?
Neither of them are in it. Nobody's in it except the bad guy. The guy who looks 50. Yeah, the guy who looks 50. He's the only person in the movie from the first movie,
but
I think.
The same character is just different people.
No. It's like 2 years later.
What?
It's just like the next generation.
All moved on to like college?
Yeah, they're gone.
They're gone. About the new.
Yeah, they're the new seniors.
Right.
That's what it is.
Let's talk about class of 67.
It's Grease also. So not even Grease like continuation.
Right.
So, yeah, check that out. It's fucking ridiculous. So, do all of that. If you also want to follow us on social media, that's very easy to do. We're at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook, and at Small Town Murder on Instagram. So, that's super easy. Do all of that stuff. There's also a voicemail if you want to leave us voicemail suggestions, comments, whatever you got here, questions. You just want to tell us about something you like about the show, 602-759-0606. And if you want to be a hero to the show.
Right.
Very important. A goddamn hero, and be a hero to yourself, because you're going to get so much bonus material.
Yeah.
It's not even funny here. So, so much stuff. This week, we're going to watch the Goodnight Sugar Babe documentary. We're going to talk about that.
It's on Amazon Prime if you want to watch it.
Yeah.
And wait for us to demoralize it.
Oh, yeah.
It's disgusting.
It's gross. So we'll talk about that on for Small Town Murder, and then for the Crime and Sports bonus episode, which you will also get access to. And the bonus episodes are never about sports or whatever. It is about Action Park, the crazy amusement park where everyone was injured back in New Jersey there in the 80s and 90s. That there's a documentary that's very popular out right now. I read the book, and I grew up 50 miles from the place and have been there before.
And that park is the reason that anytime you've gone to a water park and you've like, this place is always built around fucking safety. It's boring.
Yeah, it's so boring.
It's stupid.
That's why. Yeah, because that place was not.
The other side is terrible.
We'll talk all about that shit, and you can get all this and all of our back bonus episodes. So much stuff. So much extra material from us very easily at the $5 and above level at patreon.com/crime and sports. Or if you just want to make a one-time donation because you're a nice person and you go, you know what, these guys give me a lot of content and I'm going to throw a buck or two at them. What the fuck? And I'll get a shout out from Jimmy.
You bet.
And he'll mispronounce my name. You can do that very easily at PayPal using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com.
Right.
That's also a hell of a way to get a hold of the show if none of the other ways work for you. That said, you know what I need, Jimmy?
I do.
You need to give me these names. Beam them upon me. Tell me them like you're the Pope commuting my sentence.
Jesus brought them to me.
Commute me, Jimmy. Hit me with them.
This week's executive producers are Pamela Solig, who donated both ways. Thank you so much, Pamela.
Jesus, thank you.
Kara Blachik.
Thank you, Pamela.
Yes, a new one. I think it's Blachik. I'm not good at this.
Pamela Blackchick?
No, that's not it. Zach Charles, Nicole Breyer, Kurt Gammon, Sandra Lovejoy, Dalton Kochik, I think, Matt Wisher. Nope, Lusher.
Hey.
I think it's Lusher.
You're starting out with a bang here, Jimmy.
I really am. Evan Shriver, Renai DeGee, probably not. Tom Fairley, Jared Pitts, Jordan Bennett, Ellen Hodnett, Gabrielle Grant, Jackie Sukup, Leanne Hatch, Rob Lanto, Margaret McHenney, Joanne Ahern, Chrissy-Ann Cristaldi, and Andrea Boyle. It's
thank you, guys.
Every week
you guys are amazing.
Much more impressive, and I can't thank you guys enough for all of this stuff. Other producers this week are Tanya Kraft. Hang in there. She's going through some shit.
Oh, shit. Well, we're sorry to hear that.
It's health stuff, too. It's fucked up. Happy birthday, Toya Wayne Becker Corniato O'Brien.
Holy
Probably
shit, that's a
all
name.
Wrong.
It's quite the handle, Chief.
And Krista Zachman's birthday is this week, too. Ilya Wilmot, thank you very much. Other producers this week also are Matt Skinner, Lady of Law, S. Braswell, Travis Webb, Jonathan Gabri. Oh, boy. Bella Nightmare? No, that's can't be right. Sarah with no last name. SJL LeBlond. Travis Davis. Justin Hoff. Jordan,
it's going well, everybody.
Jordan Ashby, Haley Coman or Cummin, like Omar, I guess.
Omar Cummin.
Emily Field, Jordan Ashby, I said that. C. Tucker, Chantel Tuma, Brianna Bertrand, Trent Kruger, Samantha Patterson, Stephanie Fisher, Andrew, Seeley Harris, Tasha Jaruzinski. Andrew Hoskins, Kyle Berkeley, Adita Sanchez, Samantha Ruiz, Earl Grays, Samantha Quattro. What the fuck? What did I do? Quattrocci?
Okay.
Yep, that's Italian, I'm sure.
Rachel, be if you ruined it.
Rachel Kerr, Katie Miller, Kira Mahoney, Bradley Joe Waldrop, Tom Milligan, Kelsey Knapp, Becky, what did I, Amio? No, I apologize, Becky. Holly Ward, Michael Thomas, Nathaniel Plus, Adrian Doheny, Adam Hurwitz, like Duritz, Jessica Jenkins, Jade O. I don't know what I did. I ruined somebody's name. Adrian Goff or Go.
Not the first time.
Brady Murphy, Cherie Sandoval, Christian Pierce, Amanda Kent, John Mills, Damon Rail, Christian Kudahi. Annalie, it can't be right. M. Roberts, Sarah Potter, Painter, Mike, Mike Shearer, Kaylee Verhusen, Christy McFarland, Hulk Smash Battle Camp.
Okay.
Kevin Huntington, Kieran McGuire, Jeanette Throneberry, Cody Crowther, Rita Davis, Uruguay? No. Kaiser Anthony, Amy Deitch, what did I do? Steve Tancredi, Matthew Boland, Sarah Hamilton, the Bolero family, Jesse Speicher, what is that? Arthur Deaton, Brandon Haug, Adam Sorber, Dave Alexander, what is this? Kaylin Vanessa? No, Anissa. Not even close. Vanessa Rivera Fisher, Philip Smith, Corey Pritt, Warren Thompson, Amy Nesbitt Wright, Marco Parsons, Geeky Nerd 2000, Joseph Kitzberger, I think, Jake Dengler, god damn it, Michelle with no last name, Claire Downing, Rosie Marr, Mayor Jesperson, Velvet Heaps, fuck. What am I doing wrong? Mark Hackett, Chandra Jenkins, Sean Duggan, Patience Cole, Haley with no last name, Nathan Schroeder, Taylor Striegel, Aaron Nelson, Sharon Gabriel, Lisa Watson, Corin Maniscalchi.
Yikes.
Maniscalchi? Fuck. What?
You're having problems.
Ultimate, what did I do? Hellcat, the Bold. See, it's easy words, and I can't even get Lisa Watson. I said that. Staley Sadler, Mendy Schmidt, Brandon Calvin, Emily Shilperort, Kelby Houseman, Sharon Gabriel. I said that. That's why. Molly with no last name, Sarah Sparks, Chad Walker, Katie Andrade, what?
Yeah.
Stephanie Hicks, I talked myself out of them. Kristen McCall, Georgia May Jankunis, Karenina Elza Doder, Alex Zanger, Kelly Evans, Jessica Merritt, Samuel Pickup, Travis Olumbaugh, what? Olumbaugh? Nicole Rowling, Will with no last name. No, it didn't. Hugh Janus, you got that right. That's not real. Chris with no last name. Kelly DeCalgany. And Adam Moody. It's getting so goddamn difficult. Luann Holzhauer, George Deck, Andrew Trimmer, Sarah Hargrove, Joanne Taylor, Datra Walker. Jason Horvath, thank you so much, Jason. He sent a nice email also. Asia with no last name, ASA. That's Asia, I believe. I think it is. I think I got it. Samantha Swander. Anthony Mora, Ada Kaziniak, Joseph Roadman, Allison Fox, Steve Drake, Graham Linney, Ryan Hoff, Margaret Small, Ralph Williams, Stormy Sewell, Ash Mearns, Nick Poultry, Poultney, Catherine Furlong, Alexandra Sheen, Marcos Zazaweda, Kevin Kiak, Sandy Dew.
This is a rough one this
week.
Jesus
what did
Christ.
Paul Unwin, Ryan Foovers.
You don't know what you're doing.
Steffi Gillies, Joe Harris, could be Tony, Helen Sunjoy, Jenna Pridey, John Sanders, I think, Hunter Powell, Caleb Sparks. Sorry, Caleb. Gabby Gabby G. Lacey Griffin, Galaxy Story, Shelley Beasley, John Jones, Lori Malcolm, Aaron Smith, Michael Richards, Jenna Drescher, Fran's sister, obviously. Barb Flick. Barb Flick sent a nice email. Thank you so much, Barb. Dave Howard, Brock, what is this? Ambrose, Connor Sparkman, Natasha Semler, Hawkins, Gary Berry, brutal. Brendan Thatcher, Malik Pfister, Dave Buren, Kennedy Smith, Jacqueline Wright, Tyga, Shornack, CGB, Stephanie Davies, Tamara Carpenter, Matt Houff, Parker Jeffrey, Nick with no last name, Selena Jones, Nate Sanford, Tim Ibitzen, Brett with no last name, Sam with no last name, Lee Brown, Annalisa, Amanda Staley, I think, Jamie Somoko. I am so fucking illiterate. Emily Schlake, Jenny, Jeanette, and Jeremy Wheeler. Fuck, it's even easy. Alexa Wright, Isabel with no last name, Neil Jones, Madeline Clark, Shell Wajtus, Amanda, I said that, Danielle Childs, Erica Popham, and Jim Kirk. Home stretch, I think. I think we're close. We're almost there. Listen, I need a breather.
Rock it out.
Nate Sanford, Aki P, David Whitson, Kirsten, and Kirsten, that's her last name. Tadeo, Tyler Drury, Alexis Suter, A. McCosh, Lily Lansbury, Jess Evans, Samantha Berg, Nathan Blue, Michael DeSanto, Amanda Jacobs, Marcella Fletcher, Bob Daly, Lee Last, Zachary Benjamin, Anthony Dawson, Jabari Lawrence, Jess Childers, Timothy Simmons, Taylor Nicole, Dunkachino 48, J.R. Brown. Sarah with no last name, Zach Conley, Zoe with no last name, Amber Crowell, Everest, I don't know what I did, Erica Brundage, Melody Nguyen, Rebecca with no last name, Edsel Paz, Ronnie Porter, Andrea with no last name, Kinsley Weir, Aaron Blumel, Daniel Boda, Ryan with no last name, Tua Tagavialano. No.
That sounded good.
I apologize. Elkie with no last name, or just Elk. Ryan Grange. Tamara. Viana. God damn it. Daniel Boda. I said that. Ronnie loves the U. I guess. Aaron,
sure.
I think it's a last name.
Oh, no, Miami? I don't know.
It's definitely that. Aaron Rigby, Lisa Matonis, Sean Gardner, Chad Werning, Melanie Walch, or Wyach, I don't know what I did. Ronnie Rennell, Kim Shang, Andre, what is that? Is that Andre W, or is that Andrew? Belvin? Fuck. I don't know what I did. I'm sorry, Andre or Andrew. Amanda Connaughton, Alicia Johnson, Megan Stewart, Delana Viola, Daryl Abraham, Nicole Smith, Nick Aarons, Tara and Jared, Bethany Sarah, or is it Bethany and Sarah? Kristen Rose, Xenia Warren, Holly Fowler, Lauren Rodriguez, Taylor Bean, Crystal Oliver, Jim Lee, Christina Lee Dooley, Lauren Engel, what is this, Saz Sova? I'm so bad at this. Lynn McDonald, Cade Bednarczyk, Therese F., Sherry Gilowich, Nina Seplak, Angela Wallace, Dalton Chandler, Jen McCauley, Blanca Fuentes, Cody Gudorf, Haley, Pritchett, Prickett, I don't know. Fuck. Heather Klinger, Ricky Bolin, Michelle Butts, SB, Sean Darnell, Danielle Sibiski, Sarah Pauly, Abe with no last name, Darla Derrick, Wayne Bond, Lance Panicchia. I'm sorry, man. Chris Michael, Wayne Bond, Faith Kritzel, Daria, nope, that's Darla, Derek, Bailey Elizabeth, Tonto with no last name, Kathy Heffelfinger, Amanda Boeing, Brett Morgan, John Oshel, William Beats, Taylor Elliott, I think that's right. Megan McDermott, James Aselta, Ethan Hunt, Karen Rozier, Autumn Uplinger, Katarzyna Niedzolka.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it is.
It's not close.
Probably right.
She knows her name is brutal for me. Melinda Vellman, Aurora Davis, Nick Walters, Crystal Walker, Andrea Smith, Jordan with no last name, Jordan Taylor, Paige Snyder, Aaron with no last name, Charlie H., Jessica Walker, Josh Cole, Ricardo Yarmio, and it's his wife, Senorita Melanie's birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Senorita.
Jens, Peter, Axel Fries, and Savannah Kirtley. Sharon Lacey, Lauren Maloney, Ricardo, I said that, Brendan Abels, Samuel Serafino.
Our man Brendan Abels.
He's a good dude. He's around every week.
I love him.
And Ashley Vio, too. Thank you guys
and
so
Jordan
much.
Bennett and all of Christiane. Fuck, Liz Vasquez. We love all you guys, goddammit.
Cassandra Clark, thank you so much for the email also. Appreciate you. Thomas Smith, Callum Malice, Senna, what the fuck did I do? Senna Lisa Wee Nintini? That can't be right.
Sure.
I apologize. I'm sure it's an amazing name. I'm sure it means something fantastic, too. William Bordwell, John DeLong, Georgette King, Peyton Meadows, Stephanie Agoa, Amelia Simmons, Joshua Reyes, Isabel Gill, I think, James Martyr, Tommy Yaki, Kelly Higby, Laura Looney, Leah Gavin, Travis Marshall, Brittany Hughes, Janice Hill, Nikki Lundquist, and Jessica Merritt. And obviously all of our patron donors. You guys are incredible. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, so much for everything you do for us, for all of you Patreon subscribers, all the PayPal people, all the people that support us in every single way. We cannot wait to see you guys at live shows next year again at some point. We were excited. We miss you guys, basically. Right. We want to see you again. Jimmy, what if they miss you? How could they tell you about it?
You guys know where that is, but there's, not to put a spotlight on me, but 3 more people, Eric Bogan, Tanya Joan, and Lauren Whitworth had a birthday. Happy birthday, Lauren. And that Ellen Fizakerly had a baby.
Late shout-outs.
Don't know why you would, but congratulations.
Congrats. Late shouts.
Where can they find you?
I'm around. I don't know. You know how to find me there.
Ask
whatever.
Jesus.
You copy and paste my name so you don't misspell it. That's my only suggestion for you. And then you'll probably find me somewhere. I'm the one who's not the lawyer in Pittsburgh. So, there you go.
You're the one with the blue check mark.
Yeah, I'm the guy
probably
with
doesn't
the
have one,
blue
right?
check mark. I don't think so.
I'll bet
He's a very prominent attorney, but I'm an asshole who makes dick jokes about murder, and I have one. So, take that, motherfucker. Right. That said... Yep. Let's come back and keep coming back and having fun each and every time. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
Have you ever gotten a message out of the blue? Maybe you ignore them. Or maybe you end up in conversation. Maybe they tell you about an amazing offer.
I can really show you how to make some money.
And maybe that gets you into a lot of trouble. But this isn't a story about people like you, the people receiving these messages. This is a story about the people behind the messages, on the other end of the line. Thousands of them, working in a microcity built for scammers. From Wondery, the makers of Dr. Death and Kill List, comes Scam Factory, a new series about survival at the expense of others. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.